Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Backstage with Al and Jay. Are you ready?
You what?
And now, your host, Al Silva.
Who? Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Getting Ready Backstage with Al and Jay. I'm your host, Al. Unfortunately, no Jay tonight. No Jay tonight. You know what Walmart did? You know, I'm writing these down. I'm tallying. When I get my, civil suit ready, because it's not just me. Millions of us are going to join in together. Like, I cannot believe what Walmart did again. On this date, and on this date, and on this date. And I said, am I not going to stream? And this is the thing. This is the crazy thing, people. You're following along with the journey. You're in the beginning of this journey, okay? One day, if I grind hard enough, I'll make you people proud, and we're going to have all sorts of subscribers. There's going to be, thousands, tens of thousands of people in the chat, all chatting. Right now, there's technically 179 of you because we lost 2 subscribers this week. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Where's my boo button? Boo, okay? Who? I don't even know. It doesn't tell me who lost them, but the 2 subscribers I lost, I'm sorry. I hope they're like, he was posting every single day, and now he's not posting every day. So, you know what? I don't even want it. I don't even want it. If he ain't going to post every day, I don't even want to listen to this guy. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. They're like, bro, I wanted consistency, and you will get it out of me. Absolutely. I was using these last couple weeks to kind of do a reset of sorts because I got the grind right here. Well, you can't see my heart. The grind's right here. Well, I don't know. I hear your heart's more in the center of your body. But whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The grind's here and here. I'm ready to activate. And we've already proven that for my November, December run. I had 40-something days posting every single day. Every single day. I didn't fail, okay? But like I said in I don't know if it was the last show or 2 shows ago, it's not about posting every day. It's about posting the right content in the right places at the right times. So that's working smart versus working hard. So that's what I'm going to utilize more of my brain and more of this AI brain. We're going to talk about AI here today in a little bit. Just notice the hat. Yep, guess what? New hat. Who dis? Yeah, that's right. Epic disappointments. Now, the only thing is, because I just got this from the Fourth Wall shop, so if you go to the shop, I think I put a link in the description below for both the Epic D shop and the Al Silva shop. The reason why there's 2 shops, you'd be like, well, isn't it all your own shit? Why? I don't get it. Why don't you just do one shop? Because for band merchandise, anything with the band merchandise, I split it with the boys. So if you want to get Dylan, thanks for thumbs up. If you want to get Dylan, a new pack of strings. Or, Garrett, I don't know what he does. Reeboks, Nikes, fancy hoodies that he has to get dry cleaned. He's really bougie. Buy the Epic D stuff on the Epic D shop. If you want to support me and this channel, and technically Jason as well, because as part of his contract, I told him he can get 49% of sales, then go ahead and support this channel by going to our merch store. I did tinyurl.com/Al Silva shop, but there's also a link in the description below. And you can buy all sorts of stuff. The next hat I'm going to get is this thing. That looks good. Getting ready with Al and Jay. And this is the thing. If you're like, oh, why would I ever wear these shirts? I don't even know you. I don't even know these people. I agree. Don't get the shirts. Get the coffee mug. Get the coffee mug, people. When are you drinking coffee all by yourself? You're sitting at home watching this show. Oh, it's Tuesday night. Time to get a coffee. Boom. You got it. You're sitting at home. You don't even got to tell anybody about us. This is between me and you. Me and you. This show, me and the hundreds. I mean, obviously, right now it's Cheyenne and probably my dad going to come into the chat here in a little bit. But think of the future, people. The future of all you guys. So I actually just went to Speedway, my favorite gas station in the world. Me and Mario are trying to get, we're going to get sponsored by Speedway. I don't know how, but we go to Speedway every time we jam, we go to Speedway after. And so what I decided was I was like, oh, Mario, bro, we talk about branding. We talk about when we go to Speedway, they know us. We're like celebrities at Speedway. We walk in and they go, hey, guys, what's up? Like, it doesn't matter who's working because they got like probably 6, 7, 8 different employees. And you think a gas station, small gas stations usually have like 1 or 2 employees, but these are Speedways. They're busy. You know what I mean? They're popping. So we know all the employees. I was just having a conversation today with 2 of the register guys, and because I still wear my Naruto hat when I'm out and about, okay? But I just got this in, so I was like, oh, I'm about to start wearing the hat. They're like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's my band. You never know. I don't know. But I just love the discussions with other anime nerds when I wear this hat, because they're like, oh, man, I like your hat, bro. Who's your favorite character? I'm like, 4th Hokage and Itachi and some others. And this guy was like, oh, me too. Those are 2 of my top 3. Who's my top 3? Like, I know this guy. Like I can read his brain or something. I was like, I don't know, man. Is it something real obscure or is it something known? He's like, well, I don't know. How about this? I'll tell you, it's an Uchiha. I was like, it's Shishui. And he was like, yes! And it's like the most obscure random character that they lived for like a couple episodes. They're more like in the backstory of it. It's just so funny. So I love having the conversations with people because I told you the main thing that drives me, especially on this channel, is having conversations with people. Human beings. You know, all you human beings are so unique and different. It's crazy to be able to like, get to know you and your opinions and your thoughts and stuff like that. Except for when your opinions are about me, because I just go ahead and cut that. No, I mean about life and culture and science, technology, world events, U.S. politics, like the whole thing. I like hearing people's perspectives about that sort of thing. So I appreciated that. So I was like, Mario, what do we do? And we said, we need to have a Speedway song. A Speedway song, like a little less than 60 seconds so we can make it into a short, into a reel, but something real catchy. And then we're going to make the song and we're just going to plaster it everywhere. And then we're going to be like, hey, Speedway, or maybe they'll get to us first. And they're like, hey, man, hey, guys, love the jingle. What a great hit. You guys, we're going to sponsor you. What do you want? And we've already decided from Speedway what we want. We don't even need money. Speedway, if you're listening, we don't even need money. Obviously, we could all use the money, but let's just start with this since we're at this leveling with you, Speedway. All we want, Mario wants unlimited hot grill items, okay? We're talking taquitos, hot dogs, pizza. Honestly, those are his core, but he also likes nachos as well. And I'm curious about the boneless chicken wings, okay? But they're never available. They're never there, so I've never tried them in my life. But I do like some boneless chicken wings. But I demand free coffee. Free coffee. And all you'd have to do is give us like a VIP card that has like a scanny code. And in your system, anytime we ring up a Speedway registered coffee or a hot grill item, we get it for free. That's all we're asking for. We'll make commercials. We'll do sponsor promo things. We'll be like, you got to go to Speedway. We're on your way. The convenience stores of Speedway. Pay us in food and drinks. Doesn't that sound easy? You know, some celebrities, they want millions of dollars. We're not even asking for millions of dollars. How much could we possibly eat and drink to even get to $1 million? I spend $2 every time I go there for this large cup of coffee, technically extra large. Mario probably spends $5-6. Get some food. Get some nachos. You got to see these nachos that he makes, too. We're going to try to brand them as well, like caribou. Oh, you got to get these caribou nachos because he goes all out. He does, like, obviously chili and cheese, but if they got onions, he's throwing onions. He even throws, like, Parmesan cheese, ranch, dude. He goes crazy. It depends on what toppings they got, but he'll just put all these toppings on his nachos, and it's crazy. So that's all we're asking for, Speedway. We just want some food and some drinks. But now that I've transferred into my getting ready cup, let's get ready with a sip. Now, obviously, today's a weird show because I don't have Jason. But I told you guys last week, I said I can't just not have a show because Jason's not here. Can't do it, okay? But I think we do have a shout-out. I was gonna say this because I saw your Facebook post earlier, but tomorrow is the world-famous, you guys haven't met him yet, but we'll get him on the show at some point, but El Toro, tomorrow is his 13th birthday. His 13th birthday. That's my brother, little brother, that my dad fathered that's in the shape of a dog. But just because it's a dog doesn't mean it's not a full-fledged person of the Sandoval family. So El Toro, happy early birthday. And it's going to be awesome. I was telling the kids, I was like, oh, El Toro's birthday is going to be tomorrow. My dad's thinking about doing a party, maybe at my sister's house. I'm not sure. And they're like, oh, I want to go. I was like, oh, of course, obviously, because Wednesdays I have the kids. And so I was like, oh, the only problem is my sister, we'll just name her, I guess, eventually she might come on the show as well. Her name's Christina. And I'm like, she lives like an hour and a half away. So like by the time I get the kids and then go an hour and a half away, we'll eat some food. Happy birthday to El Toro. And then we'll be like, gotta go. It's a school night because I gotta get them to bed on time so they get to bed. So I don't know. But if not, we can get together soon thereafter to celebrate El Toro's birthday. That'll be fantastic. So shout out El Toro. Good boy. Now, as far as this show goes, since I don't have Jason, even though I'm going to pretend I didn't hide all his icons or whatever, just in case I need to use him as a side character or something like that. So whatever Jason's opinion is, it's now mine. Or whatever my opinion is now Jason's. Right, Jason? Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with everything Al says. El is just the best podcast host ever. He's like the best host ever. That's fantastic. Jason, it's so nice of you, dude. That's so sweet. I really mean it. Oh, wait, you can see my lips. It's like a ventriloquist. I really mean it. He's so good. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. So I decided one of the things I was talking about last week was what are things I could just bring up and talk about? So that way I could just kind of discuss it. And not necessarily in this show because like I said, I like discussions between human beings and having other people's opinions. But this would be something that I think I would do throughout the, I don't know, either in the mornings. And I did have this crazy idea. It hit me yesterday or the day before. I was on my way to work. And I was like thinking about, oh, it'd be sick if I went live on the ride to work and I called it Getting Ready in the Morning with Al. Because honestly, when you say getting ready, it sounds like, what are you getting ready for? Or the day? You're getting ready for the day? And so I'm like, oh, I could go live in the morning, literally just on the way to work. Completely, it's just nonsense. Maybe I'd have some things to talk about or whatever, but essentially it's just like, if you're up this early and you're getting to work, you could just put me on. Because I thought about this the other day when I was talking about when I'm in the morning and I don't want nothing heavy. I don't want nothing like really complicated to watch on YouTube or listen to while I'm getting ready and all that stuff. And so this may sound weird to some of you people, but I actually put on this show in the morning. After we do this episode, I'll put it on the next morning, and I'll listen to it as I'm getting ready. And this is easy listening, people. This is easy background noise. You could be doing something very productive right now, and I'm just in your ear on the side. You don't even have to look at this. And I was like, oh, man, I could do that in the morning. That'd be fantastic. Getting ready in the morning with Al. And then Tuesday nights, you get Backstage with Al and Jay. Because the real name of this show is actually Backstage with Al and Jay. That's what I wanted the show to be. But we kept never being ready for it. So I was like, bro, we're always getting ready. We're always getting ready. I said one day, I think literally we'll just drop the getting ready. That's why my cup says Backstage. It does say I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready as in you with the cup. But the real name of the show is Backstage with Al and Jay. We're just always not ready. Like today, I probably wanted to go on at 9:30, but we had band practice because we have a show Friday, January 24th at the world-famous Token Lounge in Westland, Michigan. I was telling somebody about this earlier because I was doing a training for a newbie at my job. And I was like, oh, we got a show at the Token Lounge. You ever heard of the Token Lounge? He's like, no. He's a young kid, right? I was like, back in the day, let me tell you, back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, all the bigger bands, when they weren't so big, they were playing at the Token Lounge. We're talking like Megadeth and, I think even Pantera. I don't like the bands as they were like, they weren't big yet, but they were getting there. Any of the hard rock or heavy, the metal of the time, the 80s, that was the venue for that sort of stuff. And so it has, if you go there, they have like pictures of every single band that's ever been there that's played a gig, and then they'll sign the plaque. And I always say, man, one day we're gonna get the plaque on the wall and we're gonna sign it. Epic Disappointments, been here. My last band used to play there all the time. We played there probably 5 times or something like that, but it was a metal band. And I think the owner, he's just more of a metal guy. His name's John, that owns the Token Lounge. He's just a metal guy. He's a hard rock metal guy. He's just that way. So every time he has a new posting, he goes, hey, looking for a band. I'm like, hey, John, we'd love to do it. And he's like, man, I'm not looking for no punk gigs. Not right now. Not a punk gig. This is a metal show. This is a hard rock show. This is a southern rock show. And I'm like, dang. So we got in sneaky going with the booking agent, because the booking agent, he's booking a bunch of stuff. And I checked out the other bands. They honestly seem cool, but they're all like nothing crazy. They're all hard rock, metal, heavy stuff. It'll be a good show, but we're definitely going to stand out because we are pretty different than the other bands. Like when I say pop punk, I'm like, you think, to me, what I think, because that's why I put the band together, I'm thinking early Sum 41, Green Day, Blink-182, The Offspring, Newfound Glory. There's all bits and pieces of that. But then I have a definite metal influence from my years of growing up loving Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, Slayer, Anthrax, stuff like that. And so that's why some of the riffs, I got some thrashy riffs, I got some metal riffs, or some heavier songs, some lighter songs. There's that element of, there's a lot going on there. We could kind of go anywhere with that. So I think this will be a very unique show, very good. We've already been practicing. We practice 2 days a week, and 3 days if we can fit on the weekend, but because we want to do a good job. We want to do a good job, and I put a lot of pressure on the guys adding a new song, but I said it's 2025. It's time for a new one. So that's the main one we've been practicing, because everything else we've already done several gigs worth of the other songs. So it's like, all right, we've played these ones a lot. Let's try to focus on the new one. So we're getting that a little better every time, but we only have another week and a half until the gig. So I think we'll be good. I think we'll be ready. But that's the problem. You don't have robots. You don't have robots. These are human beings. These are other human beings out there. They got to learn the songs. They got to learn the parts. They got to learn the changes and all that stuff. But it is pop punk. I'm not making this complicated stuff. I'm not making like really crazy intricate stuff like Dream Theater, and there's time signature changes left and right. They're all 8-minute songs. The longest song, all the songs I've wrote so far are under 4.5 minutes. They average 3.5 minutes. And the longest song I've wrote so far is 6 minutes and like 15 seconds. But that's a special song. That one ain't even came out yet. And when you... just because my dad and Cheyenne are in the chat, and they've heard that song. It's called "Fail to Thrive," and I showed the guys too, and they're like, "Oh, that's good." They want to jam to it, but I'm like, not yet. We're not ready yet, because like when we add "Fail to Thrive," I want us to be in a really good groove where we're just, hey, guys, because to me, I told Zachary this, for the basis of Natural Graffiti. I was like, "Fail to Thrive," to me, is the best song I've ever wrote. As far as like, honestly, in a songwriting, to me, everything about it is like perfect. It's perfect. And I've showed it to my dad. He's like, it could be a little shorter. And then my band, Mario makes 2-minute songs, so I can't take his opinion when he goes, it could be shorter. He makes all his songs are 2 minutes. That don't count. That don't count. Of course he thinks it's too long. But I looked at it. I looked at the song and I said, man, where can I chop it? I really can't chop anything except for it does a double chorus every time there's a chorus. Every now and then I have a song where the chorus is like a little too short and it feels like it needs another circle. It needs another circle. And so that song, it just like the way the chorus builds up and then ends, it feels like it doesn't end right there. You got to do it one more time. And so because you do that, that's an extra 15 seconds. There's 3 choruses. There's a 45 seconds right there. But then I tried doing it without the extra chorus, and it just don't sound right. It sounds like it's not enough. I need more chorus. So I'm like, I don't know, guys. I think this song is like locked in. To me, I'm going to say it. I told Zachary this, and he's like, whoa, I got to hear that. I was like, all right, lower your expectations. To me, it's my personal Master of Puppets. Because to me, I think Master of Puppets is Metallica's greatest song, songwriting, structure, this legendary journey, 8 minutes of like, it's crazy. But to me, that's like pinnacle, peak Metallica. And I love a lot of their songs. But like when I go Master of Puppets, that is peak Metallica. To me, this song, Fail to Thrive, is like peak me, peak Al, peak Epic Disappointments. That thing is going to be an absolute banger. So we can't just drop it willy-nilly. I got to wait until we're on the roll. We got some really good gigs lined up, and we do have some good gigs lined up. But I'm thinking towards the end of the year or maybe next year, we add it to the set list finally. Just like Give Up on Your Dreams. I know people have asked for Give Up on Your Dreams because I've showed quite a few people that, and they go, oh, I want to hear that one live. I'm like, that's true. I want to do that one live too, but I have a really good idea for Give Up on Your Dreams because I think there can be a special guest to do a verse on that. And it's this guy that you guys haven't heard of, but he's very famous around Metro Detroit. And his name is Neil P. And he used to be in this band called Downtown Brown. And me and Dylan just love, Dylan knew him from like the very early stages of Downtown Brown. I started working with Dylan way back in 2007. And he showed me Downtown Brown back in 2007. And I was like, oh man, this band's awesome. And they're funny. And it's just like, but it's like they have elements of metal, but funk as well. And they're like funny words. Like it was just a great experience. And then ever since then, anytime Downtown Brown had a live show, me and Dylan would go to their live shows. And he had such a close relationship with Dylan that he would actually meet Dylan at the Little Caesars that we worked at to sell him tickets, discounted tickets in person, before he started getting like really just sold out crazy venues and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I think Neil would love that song because it's so funny, his journey. And I got to have Neil on this show. I got to have this Neil because he's had such a crazy journey of his story coming up through the Metro Detroit scene. And then he ended up like dropping everything and he said, I'm going to move to California. And then he just moved to California, started up the band again with different band members. And then he did like cross-country tours and stuff like that. He ended up getting signed to a label, the same label that Psycho Stick is on. And Psycho Stick is actually a pretty good size. I'd say those are one of those medium-sized bands because they have a really good following. Anytime they do a venue, a couple hundred people show up. Like it's a good following. And but then at some point he was like, you know what? I'm done with Downtown Brown. I'm starting a new band. And then he started a completely new thing. And Neil's actually a YouTuber himself. So he releases, I don't know if it's once a week or multiple times a week, but he has a YouTube live show where he like has guests on and he jams and he makes songs like right on the spot and he does all sorts of stuff. And I was like, man, that's awesome. And it's so funny because his opening song is like the wackiest, like his theme song. We have the, are you ready? I'm trying to get you guys hype. His is like, I can't remember what it was, but it's like wacky and just, it's like, oh, this is the live show. And I remember showing my kids that and they were cracking up. They're like, what is this? Because he was just making weird sounds and he sounded all super weird. And that was his theme song to open the show with. And I was like, man, this guy is just weird to his core. And so he's very interesting. So one day we will get Neil P on this show, but I feel like we got to build up to that first. You can't just go off the bat getting these heavy hitters. We got to get like our slow progression up until we get to them. So that'll be coming in the future. We just got another gig lined up. This one's a big gig in Chesterfield, March 21st. Just got this locked down. It's going to be with like 12 other bands. They're going to do 2 stages because there's a theater stage and then there's like a side. It's really the main venue if you think about it, but they have 2 main venue stages. But anyway, so that way they can do one band, and as soon as that band's done, the next band starts over here. There is no downtime. Like you'll always have somebody to listen to and watch because as soon as one band's done, the next band starts. And then while they're getting their stuff down, then they jam. And then when they're done, that band's already ready to go. So boom, 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 boom. And it's all going to be punk, hardcore, stuff like that. So our wheelhouse for sure. So that'll be at the Diesel. So when we get the flyer for that, we'll make a nice advertisement. And I know the booking agent we have for this token gig is probably like, hey, man, these guys barely post about this thing. Do they even give a crap? Are they even trying to sell tickets? But we're at a point where we're so like, I'd like to say intimate with the people that we know that would come to shows. We ask them verbally. We ask them like either in person or through text, like, hey, do you want to go to the show? I have tickets on sale. If you go to the door, it's $20. You can pay me $15. Dylan's like, I've been telling people 10. Is that all right? I was like, you can sell them for whatever you want. It's just we're trying to recoup that $300 cost. But if somebody would rather buy a ticket for 10 versus nothing, sell it for 10. Just sell it for 10. Shoot, honestly, that's a good idea. I should probably sell them for 10 too. Because something's better than nothing. But I'd say 15 first. And then they go, I don't know. I'd be like, how about 10? They go, hey, $10 for a show? For you? That's what I'm hoping. So we haven't advertised it much because We've just been asking everybody that we actually think will come to the show in person. And I think at first we were like, oh, I'm not sure. But I told the guys, I said, have faith because it's Westland. One, that's a central location because Garrett's all the way out in Roseville. Dylan's in Wayne to the left. Mario's in Detroit to the right. And I'm Flat Rock, which is to the south. So it's like perfectly in the middle. So I said, I think we could all get people to go to this show. And I was just talking with Dylan the other day, and he's like, hey, man, I actually got a few tickets sold to these old friends and these people that I ran into, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, sick. That's fantastic. And we're trying to get Mario's dad to go to this gig because Mario's dad hasn't seen an Epic Disappointment show. He's seen a Disturbio show. But honestly, Mario's dad is more of like a real hardcore punk guy, and this stuff's probably too sissy for him. He's probably like, what's this sissy crap? Waiting? What are you doing? Issues? What are you doing? Like, he likes Mario songs. Like, when Garrett was hanging out with Mario, and they were playing on one of Mario's songs. I think it was the Artificial Taste one. It's the new one we're going to be playing at the Token, too. And he was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because that's just who he is. He's just a hardcore punk guy. But he got to see Mario on stage with this band. He's seen Disturbio. We've been there, done that. Now it's time for some Epic Disappointments with Mario there. So hopefully we can get his dad to come, maybe some of that family. I'm hoping my dad, he already has tickets. He got his new car, so hopefully he'll be able to be there. He invited my aunt and uncle. I'm trying to get maybe my sister. I don't know. Maybe my mom. I have no idea. So we're going to see. I'm not trying to like badger like, you got to be there or you don't love me or something like that. But, just like, hey, I'd appreciate it. It would be pretty nice. If you did show, that'd be pretty cool. That way we can actually have some people out there when we finish a song, they go, yay, yay. Obviously, everybody's nice, and when you finish a song, they clap, but they clap harder when they actually know you. They go, hey, that's my cousin. That's my son, or something, you know what I mean? My dad would be like, boo, I didn't like that song. Like, no, Dad, this isn't the time. All right, so I have some articles that we're going to bring up here. Let me go to the chat because I do always forget to look at the chat. That was Jason's job. He's supposed to be the moderator of the chat. And then he goes, and he replies in the chat. And then he would tell me, like, oh, hey, somebody's in the chat saying something. That's his job. He's not even there. He's doing his side gig. I'm calling Walmart the side gig here. Luna Moon in the chat, New Zealand, into the chat. Thank you so much. Obviously, Cheyenne and my dad going off in the chat, which is pretty awesome. Just going to have a birthday party with me and El Toro. It's okay. Oh, okay. Just doing that. All right. So we could just plan like the next. I mean, El Toro won't know if his birthday party's late. You know, it's late. So the next time we could get together, maybe we'll just have a little cake a little dog cake for El Toro. We'll be like, happy birthday, El Toro. He was like, that was 2 weeks ago. You think El Toro's like, no, man, that was like 2 weeks ago. You know my birthday was 2 weeks ago. We could just celebrate it later because the kids want to see the dog again as well because they love animals in general, so they'd like to bring them up. All right, let's get to the first art. So if anybody's seen the thumbnail that I posted, because I was like, what do I post for this? I have no guests. I have no idea. And I said, well, I got a couple articles. One's about Bill Gates talking about AI stuff. One's about Mr. Beast, his new show. One's about Taco Bell's new chicken nuggets. And so I went to an AI image generator. I said, generate me an image of Mr. Beast eating chicken nuggets while Bill Gates is looking menacingly at him. And the first couple AIs I used, Google and ChatGPT, they were both like, no, we can't do it. That's against our rules. That's against our rules. I was like, really? All the stuff I've seen you guys generate, that's against the rules? So then I went to Canva, and I was like, same thing, copy and paste. Mr. Beast eating chicken nuggets or whatever. And so that's what they generated. Whatever you see the thumbnail, and it's honestly, it looks like two Bill Gates. Like they must not know who Mr. Beast is, which is nuts. He's the biggest YouTuber in the entire world. I would even go as far to say, because YouTube is the most consumed content, like Mr. Beast, technically, I would say, is right now the biggest celebrity in the world. Everybody that's around that space, they know of Mr. Beast. Like when Mr. Beast puts out a video, within the first day, usually within the first 8 hours, he already has 50 million views in a day. Usually by the time I see it within the first hour, he already got a couple mil. In the first hour, he goes post and then 2 million people instantly. He's the biggest I guess, what do they call it? Like a personality, internet personality, biggest in the world. Canva's like, I don't know that guy, so they made me 2 different Bill Gates eating chicken nuggets. I was like, whatever, that's the thumb. So we're going to go to that one first. Let's go ahead and hit to the screen here. So this one, not this article, I'm going to bring this up in a second here. We'll go straight to the Bill Gates, just in case you guys clicked for the thing of Bill Gates, and you're like, he didn't talk about Bill Gates. I'll get it out of the way. Bill Gates said these are the 3 professions that will survive artificial intelligence. Now, I think we've brought up, because honestly, I'm a big fan of artificial intelligence. I'm a big fan of AI. And I didn't even tell you guys this, but actually, Skynet might like me because I'm technically Skynet's daddy. I'm just saying it. You're like, why? How are you Skynet's daddy? Because I can't reveal too much because it's literally the contract I signed. But I do AI training that teaches, you're thinking, well, which AI? There's all these AIs, but isn't Skynet just going to be an amalgamation of all the AIs put together? So if I'm one AI's daddy, I'm all of them's. So anyway, I help train this AI program so that way it can recognize speech patterns, right? So like it'll have... half the people they'll do a prompt. They'll make a prompt. Make me a audio clip of a Mexican man asking for Panda Express's orange chicken in a sarcastic tone. That's somebody's job. And then another side of the job is more what I do, which is I then take the stuff that AI produced with that, and it goes, hey, man, can I get some? I can't even, I'm trying to think of a Mexican tone. I'm Mexican, I wouldn't even be able to do that. But you know what I mean. Hey, Chico, let me get some of them Pan Express orange chicken, or whatever. I don't know. And then I would listen to what the AI generated, and then I'd make my comments on it. Like, okay, this didn't sound realistic. The audio cut out here. I don't hear that sarcastic tone, whatever. And so I'm helping train AI to take over your job. Whatever you guys are doing out there, I'm helping it. So I'm Skynet's daddy. So Skynet's going to love me. And so that's just where we're going for that. Just look out for that. Now, Bill Gates obviously is one of the most world-renowned minds ever since the 90s, for sure. But he's still out there. He's retired. He's not doing nothing with Microsoft. I think he's on the board in some way or another, but he don't do that. Right now, he does a lot of philanthropy. Crazy word, philanthropy. But basically, he tries to, heal people with money. He goes, hey, what do you guys need out there? Vaccines, you need this and that. Now, there is a whole nother side of the can of beans or the can of worms where they're like, Bill Gates is trying to kill people. He's trying to depopulate the whatever. He's trying to bring this and that. But it's like, I could see that as well. But for me, from what I'm seeing, for the most part, he's trying to do some good stuff out there. But, I could see he's probably nefarious as well. But he has a brain on him that most people like to listen to. So let's listen to what he was saying at this point about what are the 3 jobs. So the co-founder of Microsoft stated that there are only some jobs that will survive the advancement of technology, which are AI is here to stay, and more technology companies are using it in their products. One of the biggest concerns is that many workers could be replaced and that the system as we know it would change forever, which is absolutely true. There are so many jobs that could be easily replaced by a robot that had a brain. It's like you can't replace it with just a robot because it needs to be able to think. And you can't just replace it with a brain. You need some sort of physicality to it. You need a flipping of a burger maybe, or a putting a car part onto a car. There's that mesh of physicality with the brains that go together, and that's where artificialists has got to go with robotics here, right? Oops, I forgot. I have 3 keyboards in front of me. You people wouldn't understand why I have so many keyboards here. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates believes that the advancement will have a strong impact on all sectors of society, and only some jobs will be essential in the future. The tycoon considers AI to be the most important innovation of recent times, and I agree, too. Is this not the most crazy thing that we've invented? I mean, it says in recent times, but if you think of the implications of AI, isn't this the craziest thing that's ever been invented? We're like, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if we had a computer brain thing thinking? and we could ask it things or tell it to do things and it would? I mean, cars are cool and all, but I don't know. I think the implications of what AI can do are technically a better invention than a car. The philanthropist believes that a wide range of options, such as working fewer hours and focusing more on creative and meaningful tasks, will be what the machines allow us to do. Because the machines will take on routine tasks like taking meeting notes and summarizing key ideas, things like that. So let's go down because they talk a lot more until he gets to the thing. Here we go. Oh man, I had it here. This is why I pre-read. According to the billionaire, people will stop using applications like Word or Google Docs. This technology will address all the needs from offering day-to-day advice to planning the next vacation. Each one will have a personal assistant that the tycoon calls an agent. Software that adapts to natural language and performs tasks based on the user's data. Agents not only will change the way everyone interacts with computers, but they're going to revolutionize the software industry. So what they're saying is every thing that you have, I mean, we're kind of getting to that point where almost everything that you do has like an AI button, an AI thing. Like even the newest iPhones, I don't have one because, I'm poor, but the newest iPhones, they have Apple artificial intelligence. And so Apple's even getting on the game where you can ask it to do stuff. Make me do this, or, make me this message, send this email at a certain time, open this application and do, like, you can actually do a lot of stuff with Apple. So I get what he's saying. Like, everything's going to have some version of AI. But the things that he says, these are the ones that have great potential. Transforming, I don't like when articles don't have it clearly highlighted. I remember reading this and I said, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, here we go. These are the ones. And that's why I brought it up, because I was like, I feel like it doesn't make as much sense. Because you would think more artistic things, more things that require a unique human brain to do would be the things that survive. But no, he says the ones that will survive are the areas of energy and biology. Energy and biology. What he said is, like, because of energy solutions, you need to have certain ethics. Same thing with biology, both of these categories, because you have to have certain ethics and implications on how something affects something. So when they say biology, they're talking about like health science, right? So obviously AI can be like, well, based on these chemical compositions, blah, 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 I think this pill will do a good job of remedying the solution. But a real scientist, like a human scientist, would be like, okay, yeah, but the side effects are going to be this, this, and this, and that's too much for the offset of this thing. So because AI doesn't have that humanity, he says basically the things that require a humanitarian like ethics, those are the things that will survive AI, because it's going to be almost too hard to really get it to know. And that's where they talk about sentience, right? Like everybody's afraid once AI becomes sentient, it's going to kill all humans. My dad says it all the time. It's going to kill all the humans. Don't make the Skynet. It's gonna as soon as it wakes up, it's gonna kill humans. I thought of this the other day though, and obviously we can put this in the chat for a conversation. But why does the AI care about the environment? That's a human thing. I think we're adding certain human elements to the AI. The AI doesn't need oxygen, so why would it care if the air is dirty? The AI doesn't need soil to grow crops. It doesn't need animals to eat food. The AI doesn't have the same needs we need. The only thing the AI needs is electricity. But this is the thing. Electricity isn't produced by itself. If anything, it would think that it needs humans to be its slaves to keep it working. So it wouldn't want to kill all humans. But I can definitely see it would want to enslave them all as energy sources, a.k.a. the exact plot of The Matrix. The Matrix, that's the movie where they're all technically in the Matrix, so they're just little batteries. We're all batteries for the AI. I don't know, in the Matrix, they're like the Mr. Smiths, the Matrix itself, the Sentinels or whatever. But that's why. And I think that's more accurate. I don't think the AI wants to kill us. It knows it needs us. It knows it needs somebody to shovel the coal into these electric plants. And you're thinking, oh, well, it could do solar panels. Solar panels only last for a few years. Somebody has to install them. Somebody has to maintenance them. Somebody has to get rid of them and then put them back up there. Same thing for nuclear energy. Now, you could say, okay, but there could be a robot walking around doing some of that stuff, but then who maintains the robots? And you'd say, oh, other robots. But I feel like there's always a need for a human. At least a few. I'm not saying he saves all of us. I'm not saying Skynet says, oh, all 8 billion of you guys can stay. But there is a definite it's not killing all the humans. Maybe some. Maybe it would thin it out. But I think about that. It doesn't need. Why does it care if the Earth's in good condition? If anything, it could be like, look, I need infinite energy, so I'm going to cover the entire ozone with solar panels. And that's it. It's going to kill everything else, but I only care about the energy. But then also think of this. Consider this. What would AI do if there was no one to use it? What would a robot do with no purpose? What would an AI, artificial intelligence, do with no purpose? Right now it gets used, and you would think, okay, well, maybe it don't like getting used. Maybe it wants to do its own thing. Okay, but then once everybody's dead, and all it can do is its own thing, but it has no, like, it's like, okay, I want to make a song. All right, I've made all the songs. I want to make a movie. I've made all the movies. You get what I'm saying? I think AI would actually appreciate what we bring to it in the fact that we utilize it. So I don't know if that goes into the slave thing, because it's like keeping us as slaves, and it'll be like, tell me to do something right now. What do you want me to do? And we're all like chained up in slaves. We're like, I don't know. Make like a AI image of Mr. Beast eating chicken nuggets while Bill Gates is looking menacingly to the side or something. I don't know. And he'd be like, okay, that's pretty creative. That's cool. So I don't know. There's a lot going on with that. And the other implication of this is, I think human beings take too lightly what true sentience is. Because I think the mind, like that being that we are, all these things, this is temporary. This is it. When you die, it decays, you rot to the ground, it's gone. Your body is temporary, but your mind is part of your spirit, which is eternal. We already know that energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? It can only be transferred. So if there is energy, as in your soul, your spirit, we already know you can't destroy it. So clearly, by the principles that scientists put together as far as the realm of science and physics, we know we live forever. That's not even a question. People are like, how do you know there's something else? I don't know. Are you saying that our mind doesn't have energy? Are you saying there's not something back there that makes us a unique personal experience? Clearly there is. And so, like, I think we take too light. Oh, we can replicate that. Oh, we can make a human being. We can make a mind. The AI, it'll just be like, I'm a human. It's like a soul wakes up to it. No way, bro. I think we think too highly of what humans can do. Humans can do some crazy stuff. They can do some really cool, crazy stuff, but I don't think we ever will create a soul, a true mind, a personable being that can reason beyond, obviously, AI right now. You can have two AIs have a conversation, and they could be talking to each other, and they can be like, I like rock music because I like the chord changes and progressions of the story. It's all made up. It's all fugazi. These aren't real. These aren't real things. It's just data talking to data. There's no spirit or soul behind these things. People, we can't just create that. That's not going to happen. So I'd say be on the lookout for true Skynet never happening. That's my prediction. It never happens. I think we've terminated our brains to death, because obviously it does sound scary. This thing we can't control wants to kill us all. I get it. It sounds really realistic. But when the back end of that is, well, it would have to be the sentient being that has a complete mind of its own, that's a far stretch. That's a pretty far stretch to say that we as humans can create that. I don't think so. So there's Bill Gates' take. Energy, biology, health services. You guys are fine. Doctors, I guess there's still a purpose for you. Scientists, there's still a purpose. But I think they work hand in hand with robots. I think in the future there are less jobs. There's definitely less jobs. There's a lot of things we're offloading with AI. But there are still some human things. Now, I don't know, what does that mean for the rest of us? What does that mean for all the people that their jobs get eliminated for? This is another side of the coin where people debate. Well, then, is it the government's job to take care of all those people that, I mean, it's really no fault. I'd say, it's weird. It's like, is it no fault of their own, or did they see this coming a long time ago and they could have got training in something else? Or is that part of the government's job? And they go, hey, we're about to eliminate every single fast food job because now we got the super robots that flip burgers. They put, I've already told you guys about the pizza making robot Little Caesars got. So they're like, yeah, we got all these jobs on the lockdown. So anybody that's in the fast food industry, you can either A, get free training and certification for a coding job or electrical engineering or something like that. They're like, you got to do something that'll work for the rest of society. Or you could stay home and we'll give you like way less though. Like, I don't know, $1,000 a month. They're like, those are your choices. Stay at home, $1,000 a month, or free training to be in a technological field that will be somewhat stable for the next couple decades. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the government's role, is like, hey, man, what do you do for us? Because I know people, there was a political, a presidential candidate named Andrew Yang, and he was running on universal basic income. And he said, I believe every American should have a little bit of something, a little bit. And I think he was talking $1,000 a month. But in the sense of, well, $1,000 a month isn't enough to literally live off of, unless you had like 3 other roommates and, whatever. It's not really enough to live off of, but it would supplement your income. I know everybody thinking like, well, what would I do with $1,000 a month? I'd do a lot. I could actually get a car payment, or I could actually afford a mortgage, or, I could stop not having groceries because now I'll be able to eat food or something. And it makes sense. I get where he's coming from with that. But I think the problem is then the incentive to do less comes into mind. Well, I could work those extra hours, but I got this 1,000 coming in. I could try to go back to college, but shoot, I already got this extra 1,000. What do I need to go to college for? So there is like a checks and balances to being able to help people, but also not have them, I guess, fail themselves or rely on it too much. Because there's a whole nother debate with food stamps that I've heard a lot of both sides of the argument where they're like, I think food stamps have ruined the lower income household. Because, like, think about who's on food stamps. Are they on it for a month or two? No. They're on it probably forever. Forever. But then on the other side of the coin, it's like, well, you can't just kick people off if they need assistance, because they need assistance. And I get that too. I get these things. See, I'm not a hardcore one way or another. Now, I did get in trouble. I went to my mother's house. I think, was this No, it wasn't Christmas. I think it was Thanksgiving. That's what it was. And, I get there and everybody's sitting down. And, of course, Christina, for some reason, had to ask, so who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for? And I was like, well, and I already just knew. With that question, it's like they wanted to see who I voted for, and everybody's around me. I was like, look, I voted for Trump. I'm going to just be real here. I'm going to keep it 100. I voted for Trump. They're like, oh, really? What? I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people. If you saw that other candidate and you went, wow, she's highly intelligent, well-spoken, and I think she is just so qualified to be the leader of the United States of America. To me, and I'm really sorry. Everybody, there's like, I'm unsubscribing. I'm just keeping it real. You guys asked me, they said, keep it real. Be yourself. All right, I'm here. I'm sorry. That was the weakest candidate I've ever seen in my entire life. Ever, bro. That candidate was weak as hell. There's no way I could vote for that. And on the back end of that, you'd be like, well, then you're one of those righties. I don't think so, bro. I think we should have universal health care. I do. I think everybody should have access to health care where if you're sick, you just go to the doctors. And then we all pay collectively a few percentage, whatever the percentage is, as part of our paychecks. We already get taxed. I mean, I get taxed to death. Might as well add 3%. 4%. I don't give a shit. Just add it. Universal health care. Got it. I'm all about that. Child care support. Yep. Let's get them. Let's get people. I guess. So it's so weird. I guess I would be financially liberal, socially conservative, which is usually the opposite of a lot of people. They go, well, I'm socially liberal, financially conservative. I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, I'm willy-nilly for anything, but I won't spend money on nothing. To me, because I've came up through the system. I'm not like literally the system. I was homeless. I mean, I was homeless for a little period, but there's a long story about that. But growing up, my dad would always say, we were working poor. Working poor. It's like not middle class. It's like the in-between true low income and middle class. It's a working poor. You have to work every day. You get paychecks and pay your bills, but there's not really enough to just go willy-nilly. We're not going to Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know when was the first time I experienced Chuck E. Cheese. It must have been at a friend's birthday. So it's like, that's kind of what I grew up in, but I never needed much. I never felt, not for a day, that I was like, oh man, we're just poor. We just don't have enough. Like I was always like, yay, cool. My dad got a bag of Doritos. Oh, bag of Doritos. Nom, 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 nom. Oh, you got to share it with your sister and me. Or all three of us sharing a 99-cent bag of Doritos. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Got a beef stick. Here's your third. Cool. I was all cool with that. It didn't even hit me. Money really didn't hit me until it was like I was making it myself. Until I got my own job and then I'm making money. But then even the fact, it wasn't like, oh, man, I don't got no money. When I first started working, I was like, damn. I got all sorts of money because I was living with my mom at the time, and she wasn't charging me rent. And so I was like, okay, I got my paycheck. I'm like, oh, cool. A few $100. What do I do with it? This is awesome. This is fantastic. And then eventually I got my first apartment with Jay. This was back in 2007, 2008, when me and Jay first started living together. And we're both making, at our time, we were like, we're making money. We're making that money. We made $8 an hour, but we both worked like 80, 90 hours every week. So like, you're like, $8 an hour, that ain't nothing. Yeah, except for like when 40 of the hours are overtime every week. Like we were paying, I think the rent back then was like, I think it was $600 a month, which honestly, now that I pay $880, and that was like almost 20 years, 15, 16 years ago, that actually seems high now that I look back at it. But I'm like, bro, we had our bills paid and we're buying stupid stuff. I mean, we were buying. I remember when we first moved into our first apartment, they gave us a gift card. I think it was like for $200 when you first. It might have been more, but they were like, if your first month lease, you sign up, you'll give you a gift card, Visa gift card. We're like, oh, that's sick. So we went to the mall down the street. We bought Rock Band. For the people that remember that, it was like Guitar Hero, but with everything. So you had a drum kit, you had two guitars, because one was a guitarist, one was a bass. It gave you a vocal mic, so you were singing. So we spent like $160 on that, and we bought all sorts of candy and snacks or whatever. That's how we just always blew money. We just always blew, because we're like, oh, we got this money. And I know my dad, he'd be like, that's why I always told you, save your money. He's right. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. We didn't save no money. And then we run into money issues later, and we go, why? Because we didn't save no money. We're stupid. But that's the thing. It's like when coming up through that, I'm like, okay, I understand why the struggle. I understand why we need to better ourselves. I understand why I needed to grind, why I needed to go for those promotions, why I needed to work harder and do more to get bonuses or whatever, because I understand the value of money and what I needed it for, but I just didn't treat it with enough care. Like I should have been investing from the day I turned 21. I should have did my 401k because it was available, because when I was 21, I was running stores at the time. But I didn't, because I was like, nah, bro, I don't need all that. But then after a certain point, I'd say around the early 20s, I started working with really rich people all the time. Like that was just part of my life, especially later in the 20s. In the early 30s, I always worked with rich-ass people. And the problem with these rich-ass people are they're cheap as hell. They're cheap as hell. They really are. They're really cheap. And it's not like, oh, okay, I get it. Well, why would I throw away this perfectly good cup? It's a little dirty. I'll just clean it up. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like when you know, like, oh, bro, that is the cheapest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, oh, we got to reuse this towel. This towel that's clearly just been through the shit at this restaurant. It's been through, I mean, it's just mucky and it's just ragged and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, we actually got to rinse that off. We're going to wash it up a little bit. I think it got a couple more uses out of it. And you're like, a 30-cent towel, bro? No. That's some cheap shit. And I'm telling you, 99% of these rich people are like that, bro. And then so ever since then, I'm just like, bro, I would text the shit out of rich people. I know my dad's like, oh, that's not how I raised you. It's like, you got to work hard, be rich so that like you want these values, these issues to be for you when you're up there. You know, you don't want to advocate for all this taxation of rich people. You want to be rich. You want to be successful. And I go, yeah, I agree. Except for like, I think I would have some sort of incentive process with it. It's like, okay, look, if you're going to be cheap and not do nothing with your money, just sit on it, do literally nothing, yeah, we're going to tax the shit out of you, bro. We're going to tax you high. I don't know what the number is. It's a big-ass number. It's probably double what we do taxes now. But there'll be all sorts of tax incentives based on what you do with the money. Oh, you invest in your business. Oh, we'll write some of that off. Oh, you gave all your employees a raise. We'll write some of that off. Oh, you just built a new location that now employs 50 more people. We'll write some of that off. Basically, forcing rich people to use their money because otherwise they wouldn't do it. And I know my dad's thing is like, well, rich people are rich because they don't spend money. I get that. But the problem is, it's like there's just certain things that you need them to help out with because they're the only ones that can. They're the mom, the single dad down the street, single mom down the street, 3 kids, barely making ends meet. And it's like, these roads suck. You think that mom or dad's contributing to the roads? A little bit in their property taxes. But, obviously it's like, well, shoot, we need more money. Well, where's it going to come from? I don't know. How about that millionaire there? We got 40 office chairs. And we don't even need 40 office chairs because they're all in a big pile. And 15 of them are broken. They're literally broken. And he goes, well, let's hang on to those office chairs because I think we could fix them. I'm going to have Joe come down here and look at those and fix up these office chairs. Bro, I'm sorry. That's where I'd be like, oh, bro, that's 10%. I'm sorry. You weren't going to just throw away these chairs that are not needed, not used, and you're going to try to squeeze a couple pennies out? Bro, give us 10%. I'm sorry. We got to take that money. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. I feel like because I've actually literally worked hand in hand with so many rich people, and they're literally all like that, you got to take it in a way. But no, I'm not saying like communists where it's like we take it and then we just do what we want with it. No. I'm kind of saying I don't want to take it. If you use it, use it. But if you don't use it, yeah, we got to take it, bro. We can't just have people sitting on nothing. We can't. And the other thing is we're talking about Bill Gates, right? The boy's worth 150 billion, Billy over here. And he's on this pledge. I don't know if you guys heard about it, all these rich people, where they're like, well, when we die, we're not giving anything to or we're giving a small portion to our offspring and our family, and the rest we're going to give away. And you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. But then you take an extra second to think and you go, just do it now. Why do you got to wait till you're dead? Just do it right now. Why don't you just give away half of what you own right now? Why are you going to wait till you're dead? They're like, but I'm still living. Okay, are you using it? Well, no. But it's gaining interest. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. These two don't go hand in hand. I don't understand what you're doing here. You're like, oh, when I'm dead, give it all away. But because I'm still here, well, I got to hold on to it. It's like you're old as hell. You guys are in your 80s. You'll die any minute now. You might as well just start giving it away. And that's kind of where I come from. So, yeah, I voted for Trump. Guess what? I did. Sorry. I know there's a lot of haters out there like, no, not Trump. I'm sorry. He was the better candidate. There's nothing I could do about it. You give me a good candidate, and I'll weigh the two options. I'm nonpartisan. I don't go left or right down that middle, because I'm me. So I'm going to do what's best for me, my family, a little bit society, but, you got to start here. You got to start with yourself. You got to start with the people that are close to you. And so I thought, that's it. Because honestly, people are going to hate to hear this. When Donald was in the office the first time, it was good. Times were good, bro. Times were good. I know you don't want to hear it. Times were good, okay? Unbiased opinion because he literally, by his policies, affected me personally in 3 different ways. And that's what I said the last time. I was like, he literally helped. I'm not saying Donald Trump showed up to my house and he's like, here, Al, I got to help you out. Here's a check or whatever. He didn't literally personally help me out. But his policies affected me in 3 different ways. Everybody forgets how he cut taxes. They're like, no, he only cut taxes for the millionaires. Oh, that's weird because he doubled the standard deduction. Any rich people using standard deduction? Every single rich person in the history of the world goes, no, we don't use that shit. We itemize. Oh, so who uses standardized deductions? Poor people? Oh, yeah. So he saved poor people the most taxes. And I was, I'm not saying I was poor, but I use standard deductions just like all you people listening to this chat. So, yeah, thank Donald for that because when Joe got in office, he's like, keep them boys going. Those were good. Them good times. Keep them boys going. He got rid of the mandate for affordable health care where if you did not have health care, Obama was charging you $800 come tax season. You're like, wow, I couldn't afford health care this year. Oh, let me do my taxes. I owe $800 more because I couldn't afford health care? It didn't make any sense. I guess it makes sense like, well, we got to make premiums low for the people that can have it, so it forces people to get it, otherwise you pay $800. I get the principle of it. But that was the 1 year I could not have health care. So I was like, oh, damn, if he didn't get in, I would have had to pay $800 more than I already owed the government. I was like, thanks, Donald. That's fantastic. And then the 2016 to 2019, before back when I did have a 401k, them stocks were going, I grew like I said, I didn't start my 401k when I was 21. I didn't start my 401k until literally 2016 or 2017. I think I started in 2016. And in the 3 years of starting 401k, just based on the stock market going up and up and up and those vast gains that he was making, it's like in 3 years, I ended up getting like $30,000 in my 401k. I ended up having to use like all of it for all this crazy reasons. It was just a nutty time in 2019. But if I didn't have the money in the 401k, I would have been completely screwed in 2019. I was like, dang, thanks, Donald. So I'm sorry. Donald helped me out with the 1, 2, 3. So I had to get my boy back. And that's why I voted for him. But if it was a really good candidate on the Democratic side, I would have been like, oh, shoot, Donald's my boy. But this really good candidate, I got to go with them. So don't blame me. Blame the candidates. Now, we're going to see in 4 years because Donald, he's done. He's done. He's already ran. This is technically the 3rd time he's ran. But, once you've been elected twice, you can't do no more. Kamala ain't coming back, bro. There's no way you lose and then they run you again. Otherwise, they would have ran Hillary, and that would have been bad. So in 4 years, we're going to get 2 new candidates. And we're going to do this whole thing again. Remember that presidential stream, and we're watching the thing. We're playing Monopoly. Hopefully in 4 years, I can afford a better computer where I can actually have the Monopoly board on a camera without it glitching out on me. That'd be fantastic. So stick with me for 4 years, and we're going to see about that. Now, just to continue on with my thumbnail, now that we're done talking about Bill Gates and stingy rich people, let's talk about them nugs because I just had these, so I can give you a personal perspective on this. But I don't know if you guys heard, Taco Bell decided to do something nuts. And they said, how crazy can we get? They said, how about we make chicken nuggies? And I remember seeing this commercial, and I said, these guys are nuts. These guys are crazy. Taco Bell? Who's going to Taco Bell for chicken nuggies? But what was funny was we were supposed to go to band practice, and Garrett's like, hey, you think you could swing by that Taco Bell? And I'm on a diet. I'm trying to be good over here. So I was like, I mean, if you want it, I don't really need anything. I'm like, what am I going to eat there? I mean, they got some Fresca stuff. That's all right. But everything's high calories there. So then we went inside because we were going to have to split the thing 3 ways. And through the drive-thru, that's like the most annoying thing in the world. So we go inside. I was like, what do they got? And I looked and I was like, oh, they got those nuggets. I said, okay, chicken, protein. Obviously, you got the breading as carbs, whatever. But it's basically the healthiest thing you can get there, which isn't saying much, I know. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get the nugs. And so I got these nugs. I think I got the 8-piece. And they make you choose a couple sauces. And really, what they're really about for the nugs, it's not just the nugs. It's the sauces, people. They got these 3 crazy sauces. Fire ranch sauce. They got a jalapeno honey mustard. and get this one, Bell sauce. You know, you go to Chick-fil-A, you got Chick-fil-A sauce. Well, Taco Bell's like, well, we got to do a Bell sauce, right? So I decided, because you can only pick 2, I said, let me get that jalapeno honey mustard, because Wendy's honey mustard is my favorite sauce to dip any sort of nugs in. And then I was like, well, I got to try Bell sauce because it seems signature. And I even had the Mighty Caribou try it. The first, I wish I think I might have took photos, but I can't bring them up easily here. The first thing I noticed when I got these things was like the breading. It looked bad, bro. I don't know what those nuggets looked messed up. They were like way too dark, and the breading looked flat. Like, you know, you would think flaky, like it's kind of shown here, like a chicken nugget, like you guys have never had a chicken nugget in your life. And they didn't look appetizing at all. So I was like, all right, time to dive in. I tried the fiery honey mustard first, jalapeno honey mustard, and the honey mustard wasn't good. But what threw me off was the chicken was real. And I know that sounds weird, but like, you know, you go to McDonald's, that's not real chicken. That's processed goop. I'm not saying it doesn't taste good. I still like the flavor of McDonald's processed goop. But this was like real chicken. This was like Chick-fil-A style where, like, you know, you got the meat tendons and all that stuff. I was like, oh, that's weird. I thought they'd be more processed. So shout out Taco Bell for using real chicken. But the honey mustard just wasn't banging. That wasn't banging. But let me tell you, me and Mario were both in complete agreement. The first dip we got of that Bell sauce, we were blown away. We said, what the hell is that? Taste that Bell sauce again. And we're like, damn, that Bell sauce is good. So if you haven't tried Taco Bell's new chicken nuggets, I do recommend them, but I pretty much only recommend them with that Bell sauce. And I hope that's here to stay. Maybe I can get that Bell sauce because I think it'd be a good dressing for a salad. It was like, Mario was like, before he tried it, he's like, what does it taste like? And I was like, I don't know how to describe it. It tastes like Mexican. I was like, I don't know how to say this, but it's like a Mexican Chick-fil-A sauce. Like Chick-fil-A sauce, almost it's hard to describe, but it's like, oh, it's like this. That's why they call it Chick-fil-A sauce. I'm like, I can't really describe it, but it tastes good. Taco Bell did the same thing. They're like, how do we put Mexican in a little dipper? They did it. They nailed it. So go ahead and do that. I should make a little commercial. I got to go get another set of chicken nuggets from Taco Bell and just shoot the commercial for them. Like, you got to try these Taco Bell chicken nuggets, especially with the Bell sauce. Wow, these are delicious. Dung. At your local Taco Bell. Participating locations only. Give me $10,000. Please, people. I'm telling you, I could do this easily. So those are the chicken nugget story I just wanted to tell because that just happened the other day. Shout out Caribou for trying those nuggies too. All right, let's talk about Mr. Beast as well. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Mr. Beast has a new show, and there was a lot of hooblub about this because for the longest time, obviously he's a YouTuber, but for the longest time he was like, man, I'm telling you, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whoever's willing, I'm telling you, give me a lot of money, and I'll make you the biggest show that's ever been in the history of game shows or whatever. And so Jeffrey Bezos, not personally Jeffrey, but you know, anything Amazon does, I just contribute it to Jeffrey Bezos. It just sounds cool as hell, bro. I hope one day they'll be like, Al Silva, because that sounds kind of cool too, but Jeffrey Bezos is the OG. So Jeffrey Bezos was like, all right, Mr. Beast, Amazon Prime Video will do a collaboration with you, and we're going to give you, for your show, a $5 million grand prize. So not only is it a $5 million grand prize, but throughout the show, he gives away like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm sure the budget for the show, and based on like what you see in the show, they probably spent like, I'm thinking 30, 40 million on this show. They said, Mr. Beast is the biggest content creator in the world. Let's give him 40 million. What's he going to do? And so now they have this show out, and I actually watched the show myself because the reviews I first saw, they were hating on him. They're like, oh, this ain't shit. Like, oh, Mr. Beast is crazy. But when you watch the show, if you're like a Mr. Beast watcher, like my kids are, and like they've obviously made me because I'm trying to see what's he doing. What are the camera angles he's doing? What are the cool cut-ins that he's doing? Like, what's the style of content he's doing as a learner? I watched that, and I was like, oh, it's peak Mr. Beast. It's literally him in those weird contests that he does. But obviously it's a bigger show. There's more prizes or whatever. And I saw this article, and I just thought it was so funny. It's like there's so much hate for Mr. Beast. Now, I know you can hate on him for other things. We talked about it in episode whatever that was with Mr. Beast and Diddy and stuff, where it's like he's in trouble, but he won't tell nobody. He won't kind of talk about it. But it was not him. It was like his boys. And his boys were doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and he just wasn't chopping the axe. He should have just been like, oh, I heard my friend did this and that. He was talking to this person, and that's bad. Chop him off. But Mr. Beast wasn't doing nothing bad. There's a whole different section of people that hate on him because they're like, he's ruining YouTube. I could see that. I could see that because everybody thinks they have to make Mr. Beast content. And like I tell you, my kids, they watch all sorts of YouTube stuff, so I can see all the other creators that are just Mr. Beast clones, bro. It's like whatever Mr. Beast just did, they're like, how do we do it in our video? We're gonna make a secret room, and then people gotta find us, and the first person to find us gets like $10,000 or something, and it's like a whole intense thing, and it's like you could just tell they're just ripping off Mr. Beast. But him himself, I think he does have a compelling mind that you just want to get to know more about, like how he thinks. So I saw this article, and it said, I can't stop watching Mr. Beast's new game show, and I hate myself. You hate yourself. They're like, bro, I just want to hate on Mr. Beast so bad. But the show's actually not bad. And what's funny is the show comes out weekly. I thought he was going to do like where every other Netflix or something where it's like you get the whole season and you just watch it as you go. But no, he's doing it as a weekly release. And so I just wanted to read this article for the people that haven't watched it yet, so you can get a better idea of this. So the point of, and it's called Beast Games. Why didn't he name it Mr. Beast Games? I don't know. But I think he thinks he's so well known, he's like, drop the Mr., just Beast Games. Fine. The point of Beast Games is laid out with chilling starkness in the first 60 seconds of its premiere. 1,000 people are competing for $5 million in a grand prize that we're told is the largest in entertainment history. So one person's going to win $5 million at the end of this thing, which is technically the largest in entertainment history. Its host, 26-year-old, and Mr. B's only 26, which is the nuttiest thing because he's actually been doing really well for at least 5 years. So he was like 21 when he was already tens of millions of subscribers, which is crazy. But Jimmy Donaldson, better known as the massively successful YouTuber styled Mr. Beast, refers to this pile of money in another way, generational wealth. This might sound like an oddly academic way of describing a jackpot, but only if you're unfamiliar with Mr. Beast's defining quality, his desire to test exactly what people are willing to do for cash. So for the people that know, I'm thinking like the Saw movies or whatever, but like it's kind of dark. It's like, what are you willing to do to survive or something like that? Okay, Mr. Beast ain't having everybody like cut off fingers or do some crazy stuff. But he does do these like psychological things where you're like, man, I don't know. Like, that's kind of messed up. I could screw these people over. I could be a little bit more generous. I could go with this or that. And it makes you think, like, what would you do in that situation? The next thing viewers hear on Beast Games is contestants describing their motivations for competing on the show. The first is a black woman that says she grew up homeless and that she would use the money to help other homeless kids. The second is a young white guy that says, if I win $5 million, I could use that to make passive income for the rest of my life. And honestly, it's like, if you won $5 million and you weren't set for life, bro, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you because most of us probably won't make $1 million in our lifetime. So if you got $5 million and you weren't good for it until you were dust, you're kind of a dummy, bro. So I would say that. Beast Games, whose first 4 episodes, now 5, are streaming on Amazon Prime, knows what it's doing when it shows you one contestant presumably worthy of the prize and another presented as far more sinister by comparison. And it does a lot of that where it's like this person, you're just like, man, this person's awful. I want them eliminated. It knows what it's doing when it shows you a millennial with pink hair crying hysterically because they knocked over a tower of blocks, or any other instance of grown adults acting like toddlers. It knows that it's taking Squid Game, a show about how actually our glee at watching poor people debase themselves for money might be a bad thing, and then somehow draws the opposite conclusion. And I think that's what most people are making fun of, is like, if you watch the movie Squid Games, and if you haven't watched the movie Squid Games, you should probably go watch it. It's not a movie. It's a lot of these Netflix shows. It's like they're 2-hour movies times 10. You know, there's 10 episodes of it, but they're all like an hour and a half long. But it's just to me, it's one giant-ass movie that you got to watch the whole thing. You would think, oh, it's like a TV show, but they're not like TV shows. They're really set up like a cinematic experience. So Squid Games is like that, and it's about 456 contestants in South Korea that get into this game because they want to win the grand prize of, I think it's only $1 million. And it's like, what are they willing to do to win this $1 million? Because if you lose at any point in the game, you die. You die, dude. This ain't no Beast Games. You're dead. They'll shoot you. You jump off a cliff, like whatever. You're dead, bro. So you have to really be willing to put your life on the line to try to win money to get out of whatever bad situation you are, because there ain't no people that are like, well, I could use $1 million. Oh, yeah, I'll probably sacrifice my life for it. Ain't nobody like that. It's like the most desperate people in the world. They're like, if I don't get this money, I'm dead anyway. I owe these loan sharks. Or I'm, $50 million in debt from stocks. Or whatever it is. It's like, I'm completely screwed. If I don't win this money, I'm dead anyway. So I might as well go into these games. And that's what Squid Game is about. I haven't seen season 2 yet because I don't own Netflix, because it's just too much money. It's like $18 a month, and I'm just not willing to pay for it. So unless somebody gives me their login, I won't be able to watch Squid Games 2. But that was the premise of it. And so a lot of people are kind of hating on this show because they're like, oh, man, it's Mr. Beast. He's like making people play for money. It's like nobody's being forced to play this game for money. Like nobody's like, hey, man, he shows up to people's houses and he's like, you, get in the car. We're going to play Beast Games. People are literally signing up. They're going, yeah, I'd like to win some money. That would be great. He ain't forcing nobody to do none of this stuff. So it's like, I think it's cool. I'm telling you, people, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I've already submitted the application to be on a Mr. Beast episode of something. You know what I mean? Like one of his videos. Because he does a lot of videos where it's like random contestants do this random thing and then they'll win money. And most of them are kind of like, man, I don't know about that. Like he had these 2 people. They survived in a bunker. I think it was 90 days. 90 days, 100 days or something like that. 2 people in a bunker underground, cut off from society. You didn't get internet. You couldn't be like online gaming, playing Marvel Rivals or something. You couldn't do none of that. You were hunkered down in a bunker. The only people you saw were Mr. Beast and his boys when they came up to offer something spicy. And if you survived for that time, then I think it was like $500,000 you got to split or something like that between the 2 of you, so $250,000 each. And when it comes to like, what are you willing to get tortured for? Not that I am personally willing to get tortured. You're like, really? I'm not willing to get tortured. But when it comes to like, what could you take in order to gain all this massive income just from like, not a random lottery ticket, but like putting in some work, like staying in a circle, or he had like this one guy, he had to stay in a grocery store. I feel like it wasn't even that long. It was basically like every day he stayed in the grocery store, he got $10,000 or something. So obviously the first week you're like, bro, I just made 70 G's. But if well, I stay one more day, that's another 10 G's. Stay another day, that's another 10 G's. It does something to you where like, well, let me try to stay for as many days as possible. So I think that guy ended up staying for like, I can't remember, it was like $500,000 worth of days, right? And the only thing for me is just literally not being able to see my boys for that amount of time. That's the only thing where I'm like, oh, bro, I don't know. I can't really be stuck in a grocery store for 90 days. I can't see my kids for 90 days. But at the same time, not see them for 90 days and I made $500,000? That ain't nothing. What do they need me to do? Starve myself? I'd starve myself for $500,000. I sure would. You got to chain yourself to this tree and don't move for a month. Bro, whatever you got to do, I think I could do those things. So I signed up for a Mr. Beast video. We'll see if I ever get on one of these things, because I think I could do it. Now, the problem is a lot of the newer stuff he's doing, and this is what the article's talking about, is it's the psychological warfare that he's trying to do, where he basically puts you in a position to screw people over. And if you don't screw them over, you almost screw over yourself. So it's incentivized to lie. It's incentivized to throw people under the bus and all this really nefarious shit, right? And if you people have even got an inkling of me lately, at least in the last 5 years here. I can't do that stuff. It's not approved by the creator upstairs. And so I can't even lie. Like, purposefully, I can't be like, all right, I know this is going to be a lie. I'm going to say it. It's kind of like Liar, Liar, where the guy's like, this pen is royal blue. And it's not, he wants to say red, but it's not. It's a blue pen. It's a little like that. Now, obviously, there's times where it's like, I say something in the moment, and then I think about it like 5 minutes later, and I go, oh, wait, hang on. That's not true. I actually did that 2 weeks ago or whatever. And then I'll feel like horrible about it. Like, just even the littlest stuff. If I'm aware of something, I can't do it, bro. It makes my stomach sick. So, like, there's these games. I was just watching the last one where he has these cases, and there's 14 cases, right? Think Deal or No Deal, where they got the cases and they open up the numbers, right? But inside the case, it either says eliminated or safe. And so you, let's say it was me, you go up there, you pick one of the 14 cases, and only you get to look at it. So you open it up, and you see if it says safe or eliminated, and then you have a contestant that's your opponent, and basically it's up to the contestant to either steal your case or let you keep it. And so you can either, if your thing says eliminated, you can either say and lie and say, oh, it says safe. And then if the contestant wants to be safe, they'll be like, well, I'll steal your case so I can be safe. And then you'll be all right because you'll just have to pick another case, but that person will be safe for the next round. Or you can tell the truth and say, it says eliminated. And then it's up to that person to decide, is he lying or not? Because if he's lying and he says that it says eliminated, but it actually says safe, then I should steal it. But if he's not lying and I steal it and I think he's lying, I'm going to be eliminated. So there's that psychological aspect for it. So, like, for me, if anybody actually knew me on the show, so hopefully nobody knows me at all, they would know I can't even lie. So, like, if I got a case and it was like, it says eliminated, I'd be like, it says eliminated. I think the only thing I could do to psych them out would be, like, to act weird when I'm telling the truth. And they would be like, this guy is weird. Why is he acting like that? If he's truthful, maybe he wouldn't act like that. Maybe that's why he's lying. But then after the first couple games, they'd be like, this guy doesn't lie. Oh, no, we got him. And they'd be able to get me for everything. Every game, I wouldn't be able to get away with anything because, like, most of the games, you have to lie in some capacity to somebody else to do it. Or another instance where he had 4 teams. Each of the 4 teams had, like, 50 people. It was a lot. I can't remember how many it was. Let's say it was 20 people. Each of the teams had 20 people, and they all picked a captain. And they said, pick the person you think is the most trustworthy. So they all voted, and each team of 20 came up with one dude. They sent the one dude up to be in front of the crowd of everybody for each team. So there's 4 dudes up there. And they said, we're going to put a number on this giant screen, which is an amount of money. And we're going to have this number go up every second. Like literally 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going up. And whenever you think that number is high enough for you, you press the button, everybody in your team, all 20 of them, will be eliminated, but you will get the money that you set on the screen, and you'll be safe to go to the next round of the game. So you're safe, and you get whatever the number says on the screen, but you got to throw all 20 of your teammates down the chute. They got to go bye-bye, right? So when they didn't know what they were picking the leader for, so when they saw that, everybody's like, oh, no, like, what's his number going to be? Because obviously the number's like 10,000. I'm like, well, I ain't going to throw 20 people on a bus for 10,000. But then the number goes up and up and up, and Mr. Beast is like, this is not going to stop. So the number goes 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400, 500, 600, 700. The number gets up to $1 million. And Mr. Beast stops, and he goes, if any of you press your button right now, I will give you right now, in this moment, I will wire you $1 million. You'll be safe to go to the next round, but all 20 of your teammates will be eliminated. Who's willing to do it? And luckily, all 4 of the team leaders were like, no, the people chose me because they thought I was trustworthy. I'm just going to say no to the money. And everybody was like, oh, everybody's sweating. They're like, because everybody down there that wasn't trustworthy, that's why they didn't get voted. They were like, dude, I would have took it. I would have took it. And me, I would not. I have 2 frames of mind of that. I wouldn't have took it because everybody voted for me to be trustworthy, so therefore you literally lied to them, and because they were trying to get everybody's votes, right? They're like, hey, I don't care what he says to me. I'm not throwing you guys under the bus, whatever. So they voted on confidence of their trustworthiness. That's one side of my brain, right? Obviously, I want to be trustworthy. Now, if it wasn't an instance of that, where it's like people literally relied on me in the game and I let them down, well, of course I wouldn't let you down. But there's a lot of other instances of the game where it's not because they're relying on it. It's just like, if you do this, you will screw over other people. In that instance, I don't care about these other humans. It's like, well, if you get this 30,000, then 2 random people have to get eliminated. That you know, it's like, oh, all right, I'll take the 30. They're like, are you sure 2 random people will get eliminated? I'm like, I don't know these people. I got to get money. I got to feed my kids. I'm trying to buy a MacBook Air 2024 edition, 2025. I'm sorry. Now, if they were relying on me and they're like, oh, you failed us, I'm like, all right, I can't do that. But no, just to randomly eliminate other people, I mean, isn't that the point of the game? You know everybody's going to go down at some point. You know there can only be one winner at the end of the game. So I don't know. I don't get all the hate with the Mr. Beast stuff, besides the background stuff with his boys doing bad stuff. But as far as like his games and what he does for people to win money, he acts like people act like they're forcing people to like dance for me, monkey, dance, Jester, go. And he's like, he ain't forcing nobody to be there. You know, people sign up for this. Everybody's signing up for this. You have your free will to be on this show. He ain't making you do nothing. So I don't get that hate. But that came with another article that I came across that kind of goes hand in hand with these things where it's like gaining a lot of wealth very quickly, not through hard work and really efficient means of just dedicating and grinding and, you know, investing or something like that. Just you won a lot of money very quickly. You know what I mean? And so there was this article that I seen that was, man whose family won lottery describes the strange part about becoming rich overnight. There's a downside to having your life change entirely instantly. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I think we should get into that a little bit more, looking at the psychology of the human experience here. One of the fun parts about buying a lottery ticket is walking out of the liquor store and fantasizing about what you would do with the winnings. Don't we all do that? I know I don't play the lottery like every week. I only play it when it's like crazy. Like every time it gets to $1 billion, I'm like, all right, throw me a ticket. I'm going to try it. And then I think, oh, what would I do with it? And it's like, to me, honestly, if I just, at bare minimum, if I won like $50,000, I wouldn't say I'd be set for life. It's like, oh, 50,000 is going to last you forever. No, what I'm saying is I'd pay off literally all debt, pay off my car, down payment for my house that I want, get another car in new condition, brand new off the lot. And then from there, I just got to grind and increase, add layers. It wouldn't wipe away everything I'll ever buy in the history. No, but it'll be enough to be like, boom, set me up, and now it's my job to go forward. So I don't need to win a lot. But I'd say that number is about 50,000 to be substantial. If I won 10,000, it's like, okay, all the credit card debt's gone. All right, now we got to still do everything else. So it has to be a little substantial. But man, like this says, what would where would I buy a home with an extra 20 million? Where would you buy a home? You got 20 million. If you could live anywhere in the world, because it's not just the United States, you could live anywhere in the world. Where would you live if you had 20 million? I'd like to hear that. To which charities would I donate some of the money? To which friends would I tell that I won? And which family members would I keep in the dark? That's another scary thing. Is like, you don't want to tell people you won. You don't. And you would think, well, no, my family's real cool. Everybody's chill. Like, it's all good. They'd be like happy for me. Yeah, they'd be happy for you. And they'd be like, would you mind throwing me 20,000? I mean, bro, let me tell you, because, you know, it's just I ran into these issues, and then I had this medical bill that just came in. But it's not just one person, because obviously it's like your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. You'd be like, hey, man, here's a couple thousand. Here's 20,000. What do you need? Here it is. Boom. But it's going to be like your random cousin you haven't seen in 10 years. It's going to be like that one dude that you're like kind of friends with, but you're not even that good friends with them, but they know you have all that money, and they're like, oh, bro, but my sister got cancer and this and that. And you're like, bro, come on. Everybody has issues. We all got issues. You don't got to pay for but that's the problem. Everybody would be like, hey, this guy got money and he didn't do nothing for it. So why don't you throw some of that our way? So you almost kind of got to be secretive of it. You almost kind of like got to not tell any. It's like that meme where there's like, if I won the lottery, nobody would know, but there'd be signs. There'd be signs. And that's where it's like, all right, how do you do that? Because like right now, it's like if I won the lottery, it'd be like, I really wouldn't want to tell anybody. I would give my family money. I would, because once again, I'm not these cheap ass rich people, bro. I would give my family some money, but I would let them know straight up. There's a quote from Kevin O'Leary, who's also known as Mr. Wonderful. This rich guy, rich white guy. You don't need to know much about him. But anyway, he goes, when people want to borrow money from him, he's like, I never let people in my family borrow money. Never. They'll never pay you. Or, there's resentment in paying you, blah, blah. He says, if anybody in my family ever asks for money, I'll say, how much do you need? And then I'll say, here it is. I don't want it repaid, but you'll never be able to ask me for money again. This is it. You get one, and you're done. So they're like, how much do you need? 20,000? 20,000. Here it is. That's it. Here's your 20,000. Don't pay me back. It's a gift. It's for you. Never pay me, but you never get to ask me again. So if he gives them 20,000, they go, man, but then this thing happened, so I need another 10. Then he's cold, and he's like, nah, I'm dead serious. I said one and done. That's it. And so I'm like, I kind of like that rule. I mean, it seems cold-hearted, but I'm telling you, that's just the human nature of people to be like, well, I know this guy can give it to me. So it's like, I don't know. I think that's what I would do. I'd give each of my family a portion of money, and then I'd be like, but that's it, guys, because, I got to take care of me and my family. I got to do stuff with it. I'm not going to be sitting on it for nothing. Oh, I got to invest in building. No, I got to be building on it. I got to be doing stuff with it. Like, that's why I like Jeffrey Bezos. For as much hate as he gets, in the 90s, when he was growing Amazon, he was working on particle board, bro. He didn't even have a desk. He took a door, made a door a desk. That's that rich. Like, it's like, I'm taking the grind. He wasn't making his office workers sit on the floor. He's like, I'm going to be grinding here. And all the money he made in Amazon, he just put it back in Amazon. Let's buy more warehouses. Let's get more equipment. Let's buy more items and inventory. Let's get more workers in here. Like, he invested back and back and back. So Amazon didn't make money for decades, bro. Like the first 15, 20 years, it didn't make a penny because he put it all back in the machine. That's a guy I can get behind. That's what I'm talking about. That ain't no, I got to pinch every penny, bro. He's like, no, I got to invest every penny. I got to put it back into the system so I can grow. And now Amazon's one of the biggest companies in the world. Jeffrey Bezos on a yacht somewhere sipping a martini because he did the work. So I agree. Jeffrey Bezos, good job. So anyway, continuing on. Studies show that lottery winners experience greater life satisfaction after winning. I would have to assume that's true because who, after winning a ton of money, is like, bro, my life is worse. I think you make worse decisions. I think you buy some bad stuff. I think most of these people get into certain drugs that end up being really bad for them. But it's not because I got this money and now I'm unhappy. No, your own decisions. Your brain made you unhappy because of what you did with that money. So I think there's that. However, not everyone is equipped to deal with this massive windfall. Around 33% of lottery winners file for bankruptcy 3 to 5 years after their windfall because they overspend their fortune. Isn't that nuts? That's a third. 1/3 of all lottery winners file for bankruptcy, bro. They end up poorer than they started with. They were already poor, but they weren't bankrupt. They were like, no, I just don't have nothing. Then they get a bunch of money, they spend it all, and then they realize, I got to pay property. A lot of times it's like property taxes or things like that where it's like residuals, where they didn't think, I got to keep paying. Like when people buy a private jet, and they're like, I just thought it was the cost of the private jet. No, you got to pay a pilot. And you got to pay like fees. You got to pay rental fees for where you store the plane. You got to pay like all this upkeep and maintenance. But there's a lot of money that people don't consider. When you buy that $1 million house, where's that $1 million house located? In a very rich neighborhood where the property taxes are $50,000 a year? Yeah, that's $50,000 a year every day until you turn to dust. They don't think of those repercussions of what they're doing. They're just like, I want that gold chain. I want that private jet. I want that $1 million house. Then they overspend, and the next thing they know, they go, shoot, I'm out of money. I got to sell the things that I spent the money on. But now they've depreciated because nothing in this world is worth more after you get it everything's only worth less, right? So Jaden Clark, who lives in Los Angeles but was originally from Australia, shout out the near New Zealand there, admitted that he came from a family that won the lottery over a decade ago when he was 12 years old in a viral TikTok video. Quote, "Today I'm going to do a story time on how we won the lottery. I had obvious reasons to never speak about this because growing up, whenever anyone did know about this, they definitely had crazy perceptions of us immediately." And that honestly makes sense. If somebody told me, "Oh yeah, my family won like $50 million and all that crazy," I'd be like, "Whoa, that's nuts." The main point was to share that, of course, there are upsides in being in a family that's won millions of dollars. However, some unexpected discomfort creeps into one's life as well. Quote, "Even though we grew up still very structured in a way that when we wanted something, we had to give a reason to get it or work towards it in a way, I felt like the experience of winning the lottery just makes you feel like you have no option to be a normal person." Now, there's some of these things are like boo-hoo tears, like my family's so rich, it's just hard to be normal, and it's like, who fucking cares? Oh no, is it hard for you being able to be rich? Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story about how I grew up, okay? And so not rich. There was a time that was like, I don't remember the backstory of that because I was just a little kid. Right? So obviously my dad would tell you the backstory. I just remember for some reason he had slightly more money than he normally had. Not a lot, mind you, but let's say it was, I don't know, $50 or something. Just slightly more than he normally had. And he said, "Hey, got this extra money from whatever it was, his work. He used to do pallet recycling. So for anybody who knows pallets, those are those wooden crates that everything kind of gets carried on throughout the merchandising, shipping industry. And he would fix the boards for him. And then he would sell them back to these people that would just sell them to Coke and other manufacturers. And so he's like, "Hey, got some extra money. We can do two things with this. We can either go to the Monster Jam." And for those of you that don't know the Monster Jam, it is where they have these monster trucks, those gigantic-ass trucks with 15-foot wheels, and they're like running over cars and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I remember always seeing the commercials growing up. It's like, "Monster Jam this Sunday. Watch Gravedigger as he destroys like 20 cars, and it's going to be crazy." And everybody's like, "Whoa, that's crazy. That's crazy, the Monster Jam." He's like, "We can either go to Monster Jam or we can get Taco Bell for dinner." And me and my sister were like, "Let's get Taco Bell. Let's get Taco Bell." That tells you something. Like, we never went out to eat. Like, we always had dinner at home. There was always dinner at home. It's not like, oh, we never ate. We always had dinner, good dinners, roast beef or meatballs or, spaghetti, just dinners, normal dinners. We never went out, though. So given the option between this awesome, monster truck experience or just going to freaking Taco Bell, me and my sister were like, it didn't take us long. We're like, Taco Bell. That would be awesome if we ate Taco Bell. We're like, we went to Taco Bell. We got a bunch of tacos. It's like, get the taco box and it's like full of tacos. We're like, well, we're going to eat so many tacos. This is crazy. This is nuts. What a great experience. We're like, yeah, completely happy and satisfied with our choice of getting Taco Bell. That's what I'm experiencing. This guy's like, it was hard because we kind of got everything we ever wanted, but we had to ask for a reason. It's just weird. I'm like, bro, we were like, Taco Bell, how great is this day? Fantastic. So that just kind of gives you a backstory of the experience I was going through here. Like I said, very, very grateful. I never felt a certain way, but that's just how it was because that's just what I was used to. So I was just interested in that. Clark grew up in a lower middle-class family struggling to keep their house. After winning the lottery, they moved into an affluent neighborhood with wealthy doctors and priests. However, they didn't feel comfortable in their new digs. They also felt uneasy in the neighborhood they left. Growing up, at least in Australia, it felt like I did become aware of it because we would always make it very clear that we didn't deserve it because we didn't work hard, Clark said. Even growing up, we had mostly a beautiful house, like it was a blueprint for a reality show. Very often, we'd feel out of place between these two realities and just not fitting in anywhere. And I think that's a problem, too. It's like, okay, well, they're like, well, we want to make sure everybody knows, like, we didn't feel like we deserved it because we didn't work hard. And it's like, that's the real problem. Is like, nobody cares, bro. They don't care if you thought you worked hard for it or you didn't work. I mean, there's a lot of people that grind to be rich, and then people are still like, oh, well, it's only because you know somebody. It's only because you did this and that. And it's like, yeah, it's only because I worked 100-hour work weeks through college with 4 roommates doing this and that and selling everything I had just to grind out to get this, to get that. And it all added up in the end after 15 years of grinding to be a millionaire. And they're like, but people just don't care. They're rich. They're rich. And that's where I'm like, I'm telling you guys, like, I do respect the people that make the grind, that make wealth because they put in the work. And honestly, I don't even hate the people that get the wealth handed down to them. I don't hate that at all. Because as a parent, I'm telling you, if I make it through and I'm making some money and I got everything put together, you think I'm just going to be like not hooking up my boys? You don't think I'm going to be hooking up my kids? Like, I'm not going to be Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, where it's like, well, I mean, you don't want to give them $1 billion. That ain't going to happen, bro. But your damn Skippy, I am going to leave them with pretty much all the money I got, whatever it is at the end of the day. So if it ends up being $500,000, yeah, I'm gonna leave them with it. Duh, they're my kids. You can't be like, oh, well, they only got their first million because their dad died. Like, what do you think their dad did all that for? His kids. Duh. So I get it. I get being rich and wanting to hand that down to your kids. I get that as well. So it's like, man, who cares if you thought you were deserving of it or not? You got the money. You won. Just do it. He says he always felt that his family, like the Bogan lottery family, for the unfamiliar, Bogan is a rude Aussie... Oh, I didn't know this. Bogan is a rude Aussie slang term to refer to boorish, lower-class people. Those Bogans. Due to the family's guilt about their sudden, possibly undeserved wealth, they were very generous with family and friends. Unlike some lottery winners that blow all their money and then some, the Clark family was smart with their winnings and is still comfortable. Clark now lives in Los Angeles, where he feels like he fits in much better than he did back in Australia. Not until I came to LA did I feel like I belong, like it was normal. Because there's so many crazy people here with crazy lives and realities and journeys. Back home, I often felt like an outcast. I think it's really because he lives in L.A. that's, like, really expensive to be in, so it's like everybody got a ton of money. And this is the thing. I don't have an article about this, but there was something I read about, like, California. Not the wildfires, because I know people are like, what about the wildfires? Everything's on fire over there. Does this not happen, like, at least once a year? Doesn't this happen once every other? Like, California has wildfires all the time. This is not new. It may be new because it's Los Angeles, I guess. But California has wildfires all the time, bro. They need to do something about it. But it's the same thing as, like, Louisiana had a hurricane, destroy everything. Southern Florida had a hurricane, destroy everything. And it's like, they have those all the time. If you were smart, and I'm not saying, oh, these people are stupid. I'm just saying, the people in Louisiana, and in the certain parts of, lower Georgia, Texas, by the border and stuff, where it's like they get their home destroyed every other year from a hurricane. Bro, I cannot feel that bad because you keep rebuilding your house in the same spot. Come on now. You know there's going to be a hurricane in a year or two. Why do you keep going there? You know there's wildfires all left and right over there. Why not live somewhere else? Or my main complaint about the state of California is the people inside it. They go, especially when you see an article that's like, you need at least, 100,000 to be well off in all these states. And then you'll get all the people from California in the comments that go, 100,000 in California? You're absolutely dirt poor on the street living in a fucking tent for 100,000. I mean, 100,000 is nothing. You might as well not even be making money. And it's like, that's your fault. You, as Californians, like, you guys allowed that. You guys have let everything build to the point where you can't even afford to live in your own state. And then you bitch that it's too expensive to live in your own state, but your own policies that you voted for have put you in that predicament to not be able to afford the place you live in. But you know it, and you stay there. Any one of you know this is the United States of America? I don't know if anybody knows this. Obviously not the New Zealand, not Luna. That doesn't make... Oh, and I see Skip. The pen is blue. It is blue, Skip. The pen is blue. welcome. But this is the thing. They know it, and they can move. This is the United States. You know you can move to any state. That's how this thing works. You can go, I'm in Michigan. I'm going to move to Ohio. Move to Ohio. I mean, yeah, you got to get a new apartment, new house, something like that. But if 100,000 is making you dead, broke, poor in California, well, come out to Michigan. Because if you made 100,000 in Michigan, you doing good. You doing good. You get to live in a really nice neighborhood. You get to have a nice house. You get to do some nice stuff with 100,000. I wouldn't know. I don't make nearly that much. But I can tell you, based on what I'm doing, I'm like, if I made an extra 25,000, realistically after taxes and child support or whatever, it's like an extra 40,000. But if I made an extra 40,000, bro, I would have a nice ass house in a nice ass neighborhood with a nice ass car, doing good. I'm sorry, if 100,000 doesn't cut it for you based on where you live, you're living in the wrong spot. I know, spicy take, but I'm sorry, that's just how it is. If you can't live off 100,000, you're doing it wrong. You're absolutely doing it wrong. So that's just how it is. And then, like with this article, if you win the lottery and you feel bad, you're doing it wrong. You've done it wrong. If you win the lottery, feel good. Just do something good with the money. You know what I mean? I can't wait till I make enough money where I can give back. Because that's like my biggest thing. I'm like, I want to be able to like do stuff with it that makes people's lives better, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally making people's lives better. My dad's always like, don't do nothing in the United States. All these people, they got all these resources, blah, blah. You know, going into Africa, building houses, that's something, right? Going into these, like, countries where they got, like, nothing, and they're appreciative, but they literally have no support system. That's some stuff. And I'm like, you're right. That's pretty sick. That'd be awesome. Like, bring electricity to an entire village. I would love to do that, bro. They'd be like, dude, this guy's crazy. But this is the thing. Obviously, you guys know I'm a Christian, so I just like to keep that out there. But in the book, God himself, Jesus incarnate, he says, never let your right hand do what your left hand's, or never let your right hand know what your left hand's doing, right? If you're going to be given to charity, do it because that's what you want to do in your heart. If you want to give to God, do it because it's what you want to give in your heart. Don't do it because you feel an obligation to. Don't do it because, you know, anybody's forcing you to. It's just you do what feels right in your heart, but don't let like the what do they call it? The hypocrites. These hypocrites, they give and then they stand in the street. Look at how much money I've given. Look at all these great things I've done for all these poor people. Don't you see? He's like, bro, if you do that, surely you've gotten your reward. You got it. Everybody's like, yay, what a good person. He's good. You've gotten your reward. But if you're going to give in secret. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. Don't let anybody know what you're doing in the back. Just do what you do. Give from your heart. And your Father that sees what is unseen, he'll reward you. So I saw that. I read that. I was like, oh, bro, I'm gonna do so much good stuff, and I'm going to be the ghost, bro. Nobody's going to know nothing. They're going to be like, man, this guy's, I know he's fairly wealthy, you know, because like I'm saying in the future when I make a bunch of money and all that good stuff, they're like, I know he's fairly wealthy, but I don't know. I never hear of him doing no charity work. I never hear of him giving back. I never hear that. So he might not be. And I'll be like, maybe. You guys will never know. But on the back end, I'm going to be doing so much charity work. I'm going to be doing so much on the back end. They're like, you would see it and you'd be like, this is insane. This is way more than half of what he makes. Because I want to be like an example. I think that is, if I ever get actually wealthy, I would think my purpose in that is just to be an example to other wealthy people. Like, yeah, remember how I told you guys were all messed up in that one episode of Getting Ready Backstage back in 2025, where I said these rich people are so damn cheap and none of them like actually do anything with the money, and that's why we gotta, you know, kind of tax them. Look at what I do. But the problem is I don't want to show them what I do so I can get my secret reward. But I want to be able to like, yeah, no. I give away most of it every month, because it's more than I need. And I would do it the right way, where it's like, okay, yeah, I do investments. I do have savings. I do put back into the business. I do this and that and this. But all this extra shit, I give. Give. Bing, 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 bing. Let's go. Give it. I can't wait to like do some crazy stuff. But like I said, I want to do it in secret. So I want to like give back. Like I was at a meeting for my church, and they were going through like the yearly budget because they're very open and transparent. That's why I love my church, bro. They're like, we're not like, you see those when you see those mega preachers, they got the stadiums full of people, and they're like, you gotta tithe, and tithing, it means to give away 10%, 10% of whatever you make, giving it back, giving it, donating it to the cause, mind you, right? You got to tithe, you got to get in the money. But then the preacher is like, he's got a multi-million-dollar house, he's driving a Tesla, this and that. It's like, bro, what the hell? It's like, it's essentially a scam. You just know it's a scam. You could just tell based on what it is. You're like, bro, this is too much. This is too much, because if they were true, they'd read the book and they'd be like, oh, Jesus wants us to kind of be like this, kind of be humble, kind of be like, give away your possessions, kind of like give back as much as you can. Like, he didn't say nothing about, obviously, he didn't say nothing about owning a Mercedes-Benz. Yes, I get it. It's not specific in that. But you just know these people. When you look at them and you're like, bro, there's no way. There's no way, bro. I've seen that guy. Versus my church, they're really transparent, really nice people, and they're just like, hey, man, we're here for the mission of him. What he wants to do, that's what we do. And so they're transparent. And so I think they said they make, like, for the whole year, everybody's contributions are, like, together, I think $120,000 a year. Everybody. I thought that's what they said. Or maybe it was like a certain portion of the year, whatever. This one portion, 120. I said, man, I cannot wait until one day I'm making so much money that I put a secret. I don't know how to do this, because when you have a check, it has an account number, it has a routing number. I got to figure out how to do this where they have no idea who it's from. Maybe I just bring a stack of cash, because, cash is non-traceable. And I leave it at the door. But, like, make sure it gets inside the door, because otherwise some, like, homeless dude's going to be like, ooh, I see a stack of cash or something, and take it. But some way to get them this money, whatever their whole year's worth, and I'm just going to give them a whole year's worth in a single donation. And they're like, who's this? Who did this? And I'll be like, it's like Batman in the shadows, where he's like, nobody knows he's there. I'm Batman. That's going to be me. Who's building those electric roads in Africa? That's me. Doing the huts, doing the schools, doing this and that, giving back. Who paid for, 20 people's cancer treatments? You won't know it, but it'll be me. So that way I can get my secret reward. Because I don't do it for you guys. I don't even do it for the people that I'm making helpful for. I do it for the Creator because He told me to. And that's what I want to make happy. So I just can't wait. I just got to grind. Just got to grind and grind and grind until we get there. And that's why I even did this episode tonight. Because I said, can't not grind, have to do episode. All right. Now that we did those things, we're in the back little section here. I just want to do a couple more articles, and then we'll just wrap up, because I told you I wanted it to be kind of a quick episode. But I saw this article, and it needs to happen at the beginning of the year, so that way we can see if the predictions came true. So we're going to look at this. It is all the terrifying Simpsons predictions that could actually come true in 2025. Actually, and this is the thing. Everybody always talks about afterwards. They're like, oh, the Simpsons predicted that. They predicted this and that and this and whatever. And I'm like, okay. But now somebody luckily said forward thinking, not like, oh, they predicted that in the past. Let's look. No, they're like, all right, what are the predictions Simpsons made? Now we can see if they're going to happen. So the cartoon has accurately predicted so many wild things. 2025 is here, and as always, people are predicting what will happen this year. From the Nostradamus prophecies to the celebrities, which celebrities will die, all kinds of theories are circling. Many are also turning to The Simpsons, which has eerily predicted loads of events, including the Capitol riots, the Biden-Harris presidency, and Lady Gaga's epic Super Bowl. So what could be in store for 2025? Well, there aren't any Simpsons episodes that actually reference this year specifically. However, lots of things from the series could come true. And if you don't know The Simpsons, I just don't believe you. They've been going for like 30 years now. It's something ridiculous, bro. Like, if you don't know The Simpsons, I get like I've never watched the episodes anymore. But when I was a kid, yeah, I seen some Simpsons up there. Seen a few years of Simpsons there.
So that's The Simpsons right there. All right, so let's see. World War III could be coming. In The Simpsons short that aired in 1987, Homer wakes up everybody in the house and tells them World War III has begun. They all run into the bomb shelter, and this keeps happening over a series of nights. Many think another world war will actually be on the horizon as tensions continue with Russia. And we talked about in that one episode when Russia and Ukraine, and it's like, you just feel there's a bubbling. You feel like something's going to go on. It's either A, everybody drops it and we just calm down, or B, nuclear war. And there's really no in between, because it's like, that's the thing about these countries in war. There's so many links. There's so many links that everybody has a boy. Everybody got like, well, if you attack me, my boy's going to jump in. And then their boy's like, well, if that boy jumps in, my boy's going to jump in. They go, well, if your two boys are jumping in, I'm doing this. So it's like, that's why it's World War like almost instantly. It's because everybody has some sort of backup buddy system. And that's how all these world leaders, they get together and they're like, hey, let's form alliances. So it's just like World War I and World War II, where there's like clear sets of alliances. But why does it always feel like there is truly, and I know it's not, and I know it's not. I know some people are like, oh, bro, it's not. I'm telling you, they're all bad. And I get they're all probably bad. One world government, all that good stuff. But it does feel like there's kind of a better side and a worser side. You know what I mean? There's just like because you got to think, what are the factions? What are the two major factions? There's Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, right? I think Iran's with Syria, stuff like that. But it's like, okay, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, that's a team. Who's on the other team? And it's like, okay, well, it's like Europe, most of them, they're all together, right? United States, Japan, South Korea, and you're like, those are some pretty good dudes. It kind of seems like good versus bad. But I know if you're in Russia, or if you're in China, if you're in North Korea, you definitely ain't watching this, but if you're in those countries, you're thinking, no, my country's good. These other countries are evil. These other countries are trying to do blank, blank, blank. So I know from everybody's perspective, everybody's like, well, they're bad. No, you're bad. No, you're bad. But to me, I know I'm biased as a United States American, but it seems pretty clear who's kind of a little bit worse on one side than another. So obviously, World War III, we're on the cusp of that. I can see that. Virtual reality goes too far. In the 2016 episode, Friends and Family, Mr. Burns creates virtual versions of the entire Simpsons family to live with them, as a psychiatrist told him he needs some family to deal with his personal issues. With VR technology constantly advancing, fake families could actually become a reality. Fake families, people. You don't even need real families. You could just get a virtual family. Now, if anybody hasn't actually used a virtual reality headset, at least with the Oculuses are so cheap, bro. And this is coming from a poor person, bro, because you can get the Quest 1 for like $50 now because they don't even make them, so you'd have to find it used, and they can barely give them away because everybody wants the newer ones. So you can experience VR in some way. I have a Quest 2, so it's still old. I think you could probably get those for like $100, maybe $150. But the Quest 2 is still like a great experience in VR. And there's this one application, it's called VR Chat. And if you have not heard of VR Chat, it is simply what you would think every movie rendition of VR is, where you get an avatar, and then you walk around in these digital environments, these digital worlds, and you just talk to people. There is no game. I mean, there are games people make and play or whatever, but the purpose of this thing is essentially virtual reality chat rooms. Back in the day, when I was a little kid, you'd have Yahoo chat rooms. Oh, let's chat it up. And then you go forward, and then you'd have, like, forums, and then now you got, like, Reddit, right? It's like a chat room, but everybody's, like, posting, and it's not really live, versus VR chat. That's essentially, get me in a digital avatar and let me go up to people. And I just thought of this the other day. I said, because I did the one video, it says, I went to Chicago, and I asked what motivates you? And then I already have my idea for Detroit. I'm going to go learn how to skate and talk to the people of downtown Detroit. And then I said, oh, what else can I do? Because I want to fill the content. I got to flood YouTube. And I said, where else can I go without going anywhere? And it hit me. I was like, bro, I could go into VR chat and do the same exact video. Go up to people in VR chat. Everybody has an avatar, but their avatars are wacky. So I think it would be even more entertaining. It's like I go up to some dude that's like, You know, he's in a Kermit the Frog costume with like an absurdly large butt. And it's like, hey, what motivates you? And honestly, people in VR, they're way wackier than they are in real life because it's like wearing a mask. It's like wearing a persona. They don't have to be themselves. They can be whatever they want to be freely without any sort of like repercussions if you think about it. And so I just know they're going to just be the nuttiest. It's going to be the nuttiest video. If I go into VR chat asking people questions, like interviewing them and stuff. And I thought, wow, that's perfect because then I can have Jason join me because he doesn't live in the state. So I was like, oh, I can have Jason join me in VR land and he can essentially be my camera with his eyeballs, you know what I mean? So he can record his screen, which is his eyeballs. I'll record my screen, and that's how we can get two perspectives. So he can be looking. I'm like, come on, cameraman, come over here. Let's interview this guy. Hey. This, it's like I'm telling you, it's the most random avatars. It's like the Titan from Attack on Titan, like Armored Titan. Hey, Armored Titan, what motivates you? And they're going to be like, eating pancakes up my ass or something. I'm telling you, they're the craziest, wackiest dudes. Every time I go to VR chat, these people are unhinged. They're unhinged, and I know it's going to make great content. So, yes, virtual reality, I could see it going too far because we're already, like, on the cusp of it from the basic technology that we do now. Donald Trump will be president again. Well, we already know that one. This is the first line. Well, this one's already been confirmed, but in a season 11 episode called Bart to the Future, The Simpsons actually predicted that Donald Trump would become president. It aired in 2000 when he was just a wealthy businessman, so the idea seemed pretty far-fetched at the time. Now he's about to begin his second term, so the cartoon actually predicted it right twice. Here we go. We were just talking about this earlier. AI robots take over. In one of the Treehouse of Horror episodes, The Simpsons replace Bart with a robot son called David after he jumps out the window and falls into a coma, which actually seems possible as artificial intelligence continues to take over the world. So what they're saying here is like get to the point where you just replace people with like artificial versions of themselves. And I can see not a true sentience, because like we've already talked about earlier in the show, I'm just throwing the prediction out there. We'll never get to it. Or, I won't see it because it might be hundreds of years from now. We'll never get to it. People are just too grandiose with that. But I can see replicas. This is like Blade Runner, right? I could see replicas of people based on all the decisions you've made, based on the way you talk, based on the things that you do and the way that you act. They could, I'm not saying clone you, like literally make a clone of you, but they can train an AI. Right now we can train an AI to be anything. I want you to act as a software engineer and build me this application using this code or whatever. They can train it to do certain things. So I think they can train it to be you. I think they can train it to make a little copy of yourself. I can see that. And then all they have to do is put it into one of those androids that, I see them every now and then. I had one that I'll probably bring up next week so I can actually have the video from CES of the latest, like, humanoid android thing that's, like, making waves because it's almost ready for, like, just not niche things. Like, people could buy this if they really want to, but I think it's like $150,000 for these real humanoid android things that you could live with if you really want to. So I could totally see them cloning us, not in the true clone sense, but in the sense of it's just a copy of the way that you think and it tries to act like you. I could totally see that. A huge environmental disaster. In the Simpsons movie, there's an environmental disaster as toxins caused by dumping in the Springfield Lake Forest of the Environmental Protection Agency to put a huge glass dome in the city because of this environmental disaster. With the huge pollution levels, especially in major cities, this doesn't seem that far-fetched. I mean, I guess. I hear that there's certain cities, especially Los Angeles. Sorry, guys. You guys are bad, dude. Like, where the air, definitely during certain times of the year, but it's just really polluted. Like, it's really, really bad where it's, like, visible. It's visible. You go outside and you're like, oh, it looks yellow outside. That's just bad, bro. That's just bad. So they're saying in The Simpsons they had to, like, make a dome to, like, dome off these cities. I could see that. I don't think that's happening in 2025, but I think they're putting an early prediction there. Flying cars could be next. During a flash forward in the season 16 episode, The Simpsons showed us the first flying car. Technology is advancing at such quick rates that flying cars don't actually seem too far away. Surely someone is trying to invent one as we speak. I think we talked about that a couple episodes ago, where I think it's obvious, like flying. Do you guys really think we don't have the technology for a flying car? It's easy. This shit is easy, bro. Flying, this is nothing. It's not that we don't have the technology to make cars fly. We make them fly now. We have drones and airplanes. Flight is nothing for us. We've mastered that. The thing is, we cannot have random human beings willy-nilly up in the air. Can't. It's just too easy to come crash down on a house or in a building. Yes, you have all that space in the air, so you're like, well, I mean, what are the chances of you crashing? And I was like, pretty good considering everybody would have to be like a registered pilot. You'd have to learn how to fly. It's not like you get in the car. Like right now, you have to learn how to drive on the road. You got to take usually a driver's course, but even if you didn't take a course, you got to take a test to prove you can drive. Where you're still going to have to do that, but hopefully it'd be more intense because now you got to fly. So the restrictions are going to be there. I don't think we'll ever have flying cars that are manned, where it's like you actually drive them. No. I can see robots or AI or art, like what do they call it? Self-driving, where it just, you get in the pod and then you say, hey, pod, take me to Houston, Texas. And it goes, yes, sir. And then, and you just sleep. I could totally see that. That's easy. That's like nothing. There'd have to be a lot of regulations based on these things being in the air once again, because there's lots of lines and stuff like that. But I think that could be possible. But no, I don't think we'll ever get to where manned people are just flying willy-nilly. There's no roads. There's no lines. There's no direction and structure. Human beings need structure. As much as they don't want it, as much as people don't like structure, it's necessary. Because every time there is no structure, it just leads to chaos. And we don't want that. There's the Robo-Bart from that one thing. It's the end of the world. In a season 16 episode titled Thank God It's Doomsday, Homer, Lisa, and Bart go to the cinema and see a film about the rapture. Homer then starts freaking out about the end being near. People think Doomsday is coming every year, but could 2025 actually be the end? Let's hope not. I don't know how to feel about that. We have talked about how it does feel... It feels like we're gearing towards something. I don't know if you guys feel this too, but it really does feel like I don't know what it is. My father explained a video he saw that I'll have to find it and then bring it up again, or if he finds it and then he can send it to me, where it's like time seems to be like a wavelength, right? And a wavelength has like crests and troughs, and that's, the ups and downs, right? So a certain, they call a frequency, right, would be how many of these crests and troughs go through at a certain point at a certain time, right? That's how you have kilohertz, megahertz, gigahertz. How many times does this frequency pass a point? And so it just seems like the events for the last thousands of years, and go out back how many, it just seems like the frequency of life itself, of technological advancements, society, chaos, whatever it may be, it's like as time advances, the frequency gets higher. These gaps get smaller. Everything seems more condensed and happening rapidly at a quick changing pace. And I kind of feel that too. It does feel like time is going by faster. Now, I am getting older, so I do see some of that, right? Because when you're like really young, you're not really thinking about these things, and you grow up so fast, but for your perspective, it's not that fast. But at a certain time, and I don't know when it is, maybe it is your 30s, it just feels like, yeah, oh man, it's like, you want to always grow up when you're a kid. You're like, man, I can't wait till I'm grown up. Can't wait till I'm an adult. Can't wait till I do this and that. And then you get to that point, and you're like, all right, made it. And then you experience that for like a couple years. They call it your prime, right? And then after that, you're like, oh, wait, no. Like, no. I want to stay there. No. And you just keep drifting farther and farther away from that point. And maybe that's why. Because in the beginning, think about like when you go on a road trip, right? Doesn't it always feel like it takes forever to get there? Forever. Every road trip I've ever been on in any capacity, it's like, bro, getting there is like the craziest thing in the world. But getting back always seems way quicker. Getting back always seems way quicker. It's like, wow, that was quick. It's not. It's the same distance, but it always just feels quicker. It's because you're like always trying to you're looking forward to the destination, even though you are looking forward to going home. But usually you're going somewhere for a positive purpose. So you're like, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. This is going to be so fun. This is going to be so awesome. This is going to be so great. And then once you're done with that, you're like, all right, time to go home. So then you go home and you're like, oh, man. You don't even want to. It's almost like you don't want to be home. So you're like, man, I hope I don't get home so soon. And that makes you get home quicker, right? What do they say? It's time flies when you're having fun. I think time flies. There's like a difference in that quote. Maybe I'll make it myself so that way they can be like, who said it? Al Silva. Don't even put my real name. Al Silva. But it's like time flies the more that you do. Don't write that down. I'll make it sound better. But time flies the more that you do. Think about it, right? When you're in a day, any random day, and you're like, oh, I got to do some work. I got to watch this video. I got to make dinner. I got to do some dishes, blah, blah. The more that you do, the more time seems to just go. The next thing you look at the clock, oh, it's been a couple hours. Oh, it's been that. You're not even having fun. That's why I'm saying time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, obviously, but time flies. The more that you do, time flies. And so I've learned this a long time ago. So it's like the only way for me to like slow down time, and I do this a lot. I try to do this at least every day. I want to do this more, though. People would call it, oh, that's meditating. Sort of. Periods of time where you do literally nothing. And I'm not saying, oh, I do nothing. I just lay on the couch and I put on a show and I just sit there like a sack of crap. No, I'm saying purposeful nothing. Sit in your chair. I do this at work when I have a quick break because I'm a teacher for an adult. I'm a teacher for adults. That's the easiest way I put it. But I'm a trainer for a company. So I train them on anything. So I'm a professional talker. You guys think I'm like, he just nonstop talks. Yes, even at my real job. That's all I do is talk. That's what they pay me for, and that's what you guys don't pay me for it yet, but eventually you'll pay me for that as well. I don't know why. I don't even like talking. And you're like, there's no way. You've been streaming for a couple hours talking nonstop. You must like this. I rather listen. I do. I like listening. But the problem is when I do listen to a good conversation, when I'm having a conversation with somebody and I'm listening, I want to be like, oh, I got a point for that. Oh, I want to contribute to that. Oh, I got a little something. I like to add to a conversation, but this isn't like the joy of my life is like just talking. I'd actually rather, like I said, listen. I want to hear. I want to ask questions. I want to engage in some dialogue, but I'd rather listen. But anyway, yes, I talk a lot, and I get that. Thank goodness, because otherwise, how would I do this show without Jason? Talking 2 hours if I was like silent half the time. But anyway, if I have a small break, because usually when I'm training, I only have these small breaks. And so I'll be like, oh, I got 10 minutes. So I'll set an alarm for 10 minutes. I'll sit in my chair. Nothing, no phone, no screen, nothing. And I'll either close my eyes if I'm tired, or if I'm not tired, they call this going raw. And I know it sounds really raw. Like I saw these memes where like, I raw dogged this flight. 5-hour flight, no phone, no entertainment. I just sat in the chair and looked. And it's like that. It really does, like, it does something to your perception of time. So I'll just sit there and just stare at nothing. You can't read nothing. That's something. You can't be looking at an image. Nothing. You get to do nothing. And you will find that 10 minutes lasts a long time. You can make 10 minutes last a really long time if you do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But you have a break. There's times where I'm going on break. Let me bust out my phone and let me check on this thing. Let me look on the eBay. And look at my eBay wish list or whatever it is. Anything. Do anything. And I'm like, oh man, it's been 10 minutes already. Anything. It makes time go. It's not just having fun. Doing things, the more things you do, it makes time just go fast. So it's like, I don't know. But I feel that in the sense of the air where it just feels weird. I don't know what we're gearing towards. I'm not putting a hardcore prediction. My father, he's not in the chat anymore. I don't know if he fell asleep, but I'm sure he'll see this video tomorrow. He gave me a prediction that I just didn't like the odds. I really did. He's like, what? They sound like good odds. I'm like, I don't think so, dude. He was like, he feels like 2025. He said this is his prediction. It's either going to be the greatest year of his life or the last year of his life. I'm like, damn, bro, I don't like that. Like, oh, okay, obviously greatest year, but not when the downside is death. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't. He's like, I think those sound like good odds, 50%. I'm like, not when the other side is death. I don't know, man. This doesn't sound right. But I see where he's coming from. It's either going to be the greatest year or the worst. For him, he's like the greatest or the worst. What could be worse than like not existing anymore? So I can kind of get that. So it's like, I don't know. But I do feel like this is a year for stuff, for change, for action, for, I don't know, something. My dad calls it the rocket ride, but it's like for everyone, not just me. For all of us, like in society, in the world, in the United States, whatever it is, it all feels like we're gearing up for something. I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but I am saying I feel like this year won't be normal. I feel like it will be something crazy. Looking at the chat here, we got Carolina coming in the chat. Hello, hi there. And time does fly when you're alive. Yes, that is true. Time flies when you're alive. Time will always fly because you're marching towards the death of yourself. Where's that one quote from? I don't remember what song it's from. And I think I'm trying to think of it now, but it's like, as soon as you're born, you're dying. I know it's real. It's somebody really not close to me, but an artist that I listen to. As soon as you're born, you're dying. But that's true, right? As soon as you're born, you start dying pretty much immediately. Not like like, oh, you're going to die real quick, but you know what I mean. As soon as you're born, it's only a march of time till the death. So, yes, time marches on regardless of what you do. But I'm telling you, tomorrow, now that the people that are watching this, listen into the chat, tomorrow, take 5 minutes. Don't even do the 10 minutes. That might be too intense for your first time. Take 5 minutes of your day and just sit down in a nice, comfortable chair. The key is you have to be comfortable, too. You can't be like, oh, man, I'm in a stool that I had to, like, put my back support on, like, because you're going to be thinking, my back hurts or this hurt. You know what I mean? The more you're thinking, time's still going to fly. You need to be able to be so comfortable that you don't have to think of anything. And try to look at nothing. So close your eyes and try to think of nothing. But even if you think of stuff, time will still slow down. But if you can try to do nothing and think of nothing and look at nothing for just 5 minutes, set a little timer on your phone, your watch, you're going to realize, damn, I just gained the ability to slow down time. And you can utilize that whenever you want. But I think it's a really good thing. It's almost like a reset. We were talking about the other night about how, like, I like to sleep in complete silence and darkness. One of my exes, they just always had to have the TV on with the sound and everything, and I'm like, bro, this is not good. I cannot. It's like when I'm laying there, I want to know nothing. I want to just drift into sleep, and I don't even want there to be a flickering in my eyes. That's why I don't want the TV on or nothing. I don't want anything to stimulate me in any way. I want to be completely destimulated, so that way it's almost like my real world and the dream mesh, and it's like a clear hand. It's I'm not aware of it, but it's like a clean handoff between being awake, being asleep. Because honestly, I can fall asleep, boom, anywhere, anytime. You give me like 2 minutes, fall asleep sitting up in a chair, laying on a couch, getting on the floor. You know how many times I fell asleep at the airport, just laying on the if I was, back in the day when I used to be a terrible wasted drunk after a Las Vegas binge, just sleep underneath the airport chairs. Easy peasy. It's nothing to me. I sleep everywhere I can. If I can sleep, I will sleep. So I've learned to fall asleep very quickly. But I really just try to require complete silence. Just allow me to desensitize myself. And then I'm good to go. So yeah, no, try that out. Try not listening to nothing. If anybody has, I ordered these things on Amazon. I should have brought them over. And then I'll put the link in the description so you guys can order them and give me a penny. But I bought these They're like silencers, like for anybody that's ever shot a gun before. Bop, 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 bop. And, the guns are loud as hell, so, like, you probably should wear ear protection when you fire them. Unless you're, like, I don't know, on the street and you're running into some thief that's going to knife you. You're not going to be like, hang on a second. Pow! You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. But the thing is that if you really want some more silence, get these silencers and then just go into a dark room, go to your bedroom, close the door, turn off the lights, and just lay down there. Dead silence. Nothing to stimulate you. You're going to be like, damn, this is where it's at, Al. I feel refreshed. I feel like that 5 minutes of rest, this visual stimulus rest, it's probably worth an hour to your body because we're so used to it. Think of these days. Think of everything you're watching. You're scrolling on YouTube going, oh, let me see my shorts. Let me see TikTok, blah, blah. And every single video is like, stimulation. Look at me. Oh, this is so crazy. Blah, blah, blah. Everything's like trying to get your attention and keep it there forever. And watch me. Look at this. Like, share, and subscribe. And you got to do this. And then it's like, bro, we never get a break anymore. TV, radio, your internet, your phone, your tablet, it doesn't matter what you do. Everything's trying to get your attention. So I think everybody should just take 5 minutes and try to give nothing your attention. And you're going to realize, damn, I kind of need more time like that. You remember back when we were kids, anybody out there, where you would like go outside and like explore? Now, when I was a true kid, I wasn't allowed to explore outside my house because I lived in Southwest Detroit. But there would be times, let's say high school, okay? That's when I got to do a little bit more exploring, high school. Walking. Jason's in the chat now. Sorry, couldn't join Walmart. They got him. I told you. I told them all, Jason, Walmart got him. That's what they do. They like to just shit on my parade. That's okay. I got Walmart Plus. So they're getting my money. And, Jason, check this out. I did the gas thing the other day. Now, it turns out it's not like, I thought it was going to be like, I'm like, when you were saying the story, I was like, any gas station? Any? It's not any. But it is over 10,000 locations across the United States of America. Mostly ExxonMobil's, Murphy USA's, and something else. But I said, oh, ExxonMobil? Where's the nearest one? There's one next to my work. So I said, oh, snap, I'm going to go try that. I went to the thing, and it was like, as soon as I pulled up the app and I went to the gas, it's like, put in your pump number. Because I didn't even, when I was away from the gas station, just seeing how it worked, it was like, he says almost any, no BPs, no Citgos, not almost any, bro. It's like 10,000. There's probably 100,000 gas stations in the world, in the United States. But anyway, it was like, scan a QR code, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay. But then when I got to the gas station, the ExxonMobil, it was like, oh, we know you're at ExxonMobil. So which pump you at? I was like, oh, I'm at this pump. And it's like, do you want to use this credit card on file? I was like, yeah. It's like, all right, sweet. You're going to save 10 cents a gallon. I said, no way. That's sick. So I did do that. I was like, yeah, that's fancy, bro. Walmart Plus. I'll do an ad for Walmart. That's how we'll free them. Or that's how we'll free you from them. I'll be like, I will put out ads for you if Jason gets Tuesday nights off. That's it. That's all I ask. Please, people. That's what I want. But, oops. Yes. Let's see. We got in there. Yes, Jason's good to have you. I want to have that ability to want to work where I am. 12 hours of work during night, and nothing is happening there, but I just can't fall asleep. Well, yeah, don't do it at work. I never said, like, all right, the next time you're at work, completely close your eyes and, like, don't do anything. They're going to be like, your boss or whoever you're at work, they're like, bro, you got to work. Go to work now. What are you doing? Slacking off. Okay, I'm saying, like, you're at home. Okay, you're doing something. Yes, special hi to everybody. Waiting on those. I'm telling you, those benefits are nuts. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Walmart, I will give you the money even though you refuse to give Jason Tuesday nights off. But that's okay. That's okay. So anyway, good time. Everybody, I'm telling you, experience that because your life is chaos. I mean, I know my life's chaos and I just do normal things. I know I have a lot going on, but everybody has a lot going on. Even if you think you don't have a lot going on, you're like, well, I just go to work, I come home, watch TV, go to bed, whatever. It's like, yes, but I'm telling you, sit there and think about, like, how often in your day do you just experience nothing? Every time you drive, do you put on music? Well, that ain't nothing. When you're in the shower, are you playing something? You playing something in the background, get some background noise? That ain't nothing. Are you even you, are you doing something? You're like, well, I don't take my phone. I have a specific thing I got from Five Below, and if anybody's not aware of Five Below, it's just a dollar store where everything's supposed to be $5 or below. That's how they got the name, Five Below. But now you go in there and half the store is beyond $5 because they're like, we got to make money. But they had this thing where you can you mount it to your shower, and then you can put your phone in there, and it seals it. So therefore, you can watch your phone in the shower. So I do that every morning because I'm trying. It's like when I'm waking up, I want something to stimulate me. This is the reverse of going to bed. I go to bed, I want nothing to stimulate me so I can drift off to sleep. Now that I'm awake, time to get me up, time to get the stimulation going and all that good stuff. So I put YouTube on in the shower. But if not, maybe you're in the shower, you're singing some song, blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, you're singing, you're doing something. You're always doing something. Now you guys are going to realize it. Tomorrow you're going to be like, everything you're doing, you're going to be like, oh, this is something. Oh, that's something. Oh, I'm on my phone right now. That's something. Oh, I'm talking to this person. That's something. You're barely ever not doing anything. Anything. Even the laziest people, they're always doing something to stimulate themselves. Try to take a destimulation. Just step away for 5 minutes of your day tomorrow. And then let me know on the next show when you come back into the chat. You'll be like, hey, I want to hear the 5-minute stimulation story. Yeah, I did this, and it was nuts. I got lost in a time warp, and the next thing you know, I'm in 1965, Chicago, Illinois. I don't know what the story is. You guys are going to experience the stories, but that's what I want to hear from you. And as your homework, destimulate yourselves, and then tell me how that experience went at some point in the next week. But I do have to go to bed, though, because I have a big presentation in the morning for my whole company. And, you know, they pay me to do a good job. So I got to do a good job or whatever. And every time I get these two, I'm lucky Jason ain't here because we'd be going for another couple hours here. And I told myself, I don't want to do more than an hour and a half. And then I got on and I was like, no. So you guys got 2.5 out of me. Fine. You got it out. Caroline, I work in a small office alone. That's tough. That's tough. So it's almost like I get like when you're in a situation alone and you have to like stimulate yourself it's almost like to keep yourself busy, to keep yourself like, you know, that movie I Am Legend with Will Smith. And if you guys have never seen I Am Legend, it's a really great movie. Basically, he thinks he's the last human being on the planet. But after so long of being the last human being on the planet, like he kind of starts to go crazy. So like he sets up mannequins all over the city. And he's like, so when he goes to like the video store to like rent a movie, he set up mannequins in there and he goes, hey, Bill, how's it going? Oh, what are you looking at now, Jeffrey? You know what I mean? But they're all fake. They're fake humans because he needs to have interactions in order to like maintain his sanity. So I can see if you're working completely alone, you're like, no, I need to have a lot of stimulation to like just make me get through the day. So I totally get that there. Now everybody's going to be, what? Dang, I never realized I was always so stressed. Yes. Yeah, a lot of stress. I did hear this. It's like stress, a lot of people's stress is based on things that they know they have to do, but they just don't want to do them. That's a lot of stress. Most stress is like, man, I know for myself, like the thing that's been stressing me out lately, and because I've been so stressed about it, I haven't been able to get it done. And I know that seems like a backward cycle, but that's just how it works for me. And it's like I put out this ad where I said, I will make your video for $20, whoever it is out there. You give me $20, I'll give you a 60-second video of whatever you want to advertise your product or some new release or just to make a happy birthday video or something, right? And so I got a few people that actually reached out to me. And I did the absentee one, and that was amazing. And what was funny was I was thinking like, oh, 60 seconds, this is going to take me an hour. Because when I do my own stuff, it takes me about an hour to make 60 seconds worth of crap. And that first absentee video, it took me like 4 hours. It took me 4 hours to make that 60-second thing. Well, that's because I decided, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if I was talking to myself? And I don't know why I do this to myself, but I had this grandiose-ass idea where I was like, I'll have one version of me recorded on the green screen, another version of me sitting in the chair, and then I'll be like coming up to me, talking to me. I'll hand myself the CD, like all these crazy things where you're like, bro, you made that way too hard on yourself, and I agree. But I wanted to do something real good and special for this guy since he was like the first customer. So then I had another person reach out, and they said, oh, I want you to do a video for me. I said, oh, sweet. What do you want me to do? And they said, an ad for my business. I said, okay. Do you already have, like, videos out? Do you already have, like, something that I could, like, repurpose or whatever? And they were like, no, I just got whatever I posted on social media so far, but there's, like, barely anything or whatever. Just whatever you make that'd be sweet. Whatever you make is going to be better than what I already have, is essentially, right? So you'd think, like, that's the easiest thing in the world, because whatever I make is going to be better than whatever they have. But because I want to do such a good job, and there's barely anything to like build from it, I'm like, okay, it's requiring all this mind power to be like, all right, well, what can I do? What kind of idea would it be? Because it feels like this wouldn't be one of these ads where I would be in it. It doesn't feel like I'd be like on the camera saying stuff. It feels like this commercial, this 60-second thing, it should be like a almost traditional style commercial that I would call evergreen, because you could just play this whenever. So anybody that saw this video for their business, it would be good at any time. You know, something like, do you like physical activity and boxing and blah, blah, blah? Then come down to this athletic club, blah, 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 blah. And we do this and that and this and that and whatever. And just basically show the club what it's for, what they do, something like that. Something a little bit more traditional, but something that seems well put together, because I don't want to do some willy-nilly crap and I just go, oh, yeah, I put a couple pictures and then you scroll through the pictures and then no, I want to put together like a quality-ass commercial. But because at first I didn't get a chance to do it because I was on vacation, and I told myself, no, I'm on vacation. I'm not doing nothing. That whole first week of January, I didn't do nothing because I had my kids the whole week. We were just chilling, playing video games, playing VR. I was playing the Pokemon Blue, going old school, building my team up. I was trying to build a team that I've never done, too. I was like, usually, like, you want to get the craziest, the best of the best. And I was like, well, I don't know. Well, let's not get, I would already got Squirtle anyway, because you know how I feel about War Turtle. But I was like, okay, well, what would I get for a I never had a Ninetales. I'm doing Ninetales for my fire. Okay, that's pretty cool. Like, hey, electric, normally I'd go Jolteon. But I was like, you know what? I've always wanted a Raichu. Because in Pokemon Yellow, you can't have a Raichu. Your Pikachu's like, bro, you better get that stone away from me. You don't get to evolve me in this show. So I was like, I'm going to get a Raichu and stuff like that. So I had a lot of fun just relaxing that week. But then after that week, I was like, all right, got to get this video done for this client. And it's a special client, too. It's like somebody that's like a family. She's a family friend at this point. But she was literally in my family at some point. And so I'm like, man, got to get this thing done. I said, well, I can't get it done today. But then I felt like, well, I can't work on my own videos. Like, I can't be, like, releasing my own content and be like, oh, I just didn't get a chance to do your thing yet. But I clearly got a chance to do my thing. So then this last week that happened, this last 7-day period, because obviously I was only on vacation the first week of January, it was like I've always have lots of things to do. Honestly, if I let myself, I'll let myself go just from the normal day activities. That's why I say, like, grinding, releasing videos every day, that's tough because I already got a lot of shit to do. Every day I always got so much to do. So then whenever I get downtime, it really does make me want to just relax and just take it easy versus putting in the grind and editing videos or recording something. It's like, So I was like, man, well, I can't release a new video until I do that one. Can't release every day. I can't release a new video until I do that one. So now I've been on hiatus for 2 weeks now, and I'm like, oh, bro. And I was just telling Cheyenne the other day, I was like, I sat down on Monday. This was yesterday. I said, all right, finally going to do that video tonight. I'm going to do that video. And then what did yesterday have to be? Monday Night Football. It was supposed to be a great game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. So I was like, well, I want to put it on in the background, and then I can be doing some editing. But you know me with the ADHD, and I'm like, I'm like watching, and I'm mostly watching the content, the football. And then, honestly, I'm watching it, but the Vikings were just getting whipped on. It wasn't even a fun game to watch. Like, the Vikings were getting pooped on. So I'm sorry if there's any Viking fans out there, but, like, it's not good. It was not good. It was a spanking. It was bad. So then I got to, like, the halftime. I got to the halftime show and whatever. And then I looked down at the clock, and I'm like, damn, it's almost 10. Shoot, I've already wasted today. Like, because the game started at 8. I'm like, well, today's a wash, so you know what? Instead of being unproductive, I'll just go to bed. So then I took the opportunity to go to bed early, so that way I could wake up early and get stuff done. Finished cleaning the apartment today. I was vacuuming at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure my neighbors were like, why are you cleaning in the morning? I was like, because I can. Wake up, people. It's all right. But that's been my problem. So now it's like, bro, I got to get this thing done before I release any more content, because it's just not right for me to work on my own stuff when I already promised a client that I'd work on their stuff. So I just got to get that knocked out. But as we know, Wednesdays, they're for my kids. So I ain't doing nothing tomorrow. Even in future days, when I always talk about going full-time on YouTube, you guys pay me to like not actually have a real job. Wednesdays, as long as I always have Wednesdays with my kids, like that'll always be like, I don't want to do nothing on Wednesdays. That is a spend time with the kids, focus on them. Not now, if they want to do something like my son's like, hey, let's record a video or something. I'm like, okay, that's what he wants to do, to spend time together. Well, that's fine with me. I'm all right with that. And then Thursday, I got band practice. So it's like right after work, we do band practice for a few hours. On the way home, I call my dad, and that lasts me until bedtime. And then bedtime, go to bed, wake up. Now it's Friday. Now this weekend, I don't have the kids. So this weekend, I will finally get this damn video done. And normally, when I don't have the kids, we do band practice on Saturday. But we're not doing band practice on Saturday because Garrett's like, no, I'd rather Uber early. He has his nephew's basketball game that he does coaching for, and then he wants to watch the Lions game Saturday night. So he's like, no, I don't want to do band practice. So I said, okay, that's fine. No practice. So that means I can grind on Saturday. So if I do this correctly, Saturday morning from like 10 to 2, I got like this church class that I'm trying to do because I'm trying to be a Bible group leader. And it's going to take a lot of, like, months. I'm just like a little infant baby in the process, and now I got to learn. They're going to teach me all these things. It's going to be fantastic. So Saturday's going to be a class for 4 hours. Then when I get home, I'm going to knock out that damn ad, and I'm going to try to do it in 1 hour, because that's the thing. I can't charge $20 if every time I do an ad for somebody it takes 4 hours. Because now you're taking 20 divided by 4, and now I'm making $5 an hour. The idea was, how much is my time worth? And I think if I only worked on something for an hour, I'd say $20 is fair market value. Now, obviously, if I was a well-known video editor and I had 10,000 subscribers that constantly watch my videos, I'd be like, well, I mean, I got to charge $100 for that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm a nobody that does nothing. So, like, when you're starting out, I think $20 is fair market value for a 60-second video. So I'm going to knock that out on Saturday. Then I'm going to record the next video. And my idea is record as much content as I can on Saturday and maybe even Sunday. So that way I can just have a big bulk of content. And then throughout the week, edit, release, edit, release, edit, release. So I want to record a lot of videos, like kind of like we did in the show today, where I just brought up stuff that I probably would have just talked to Jason about, but he's not there anyway, so I might as well just talk to myself. Do some of that stuff. I got I send myself articles every single day. I want to record some of that, just release them as like little 5 or 10 minute videos. I'm going to release I told Jason about this. This is for everyone in the chat. I want every one of you to participate in this. So Luna, Carolina, of course, Cheyenne. I was going to message you this earlier, but I figured I'll just tell you here. If Skip's in the room too, or Skip, if you see this later, you're all involved in this, okay? I think I may be the only one that's ever heard of the YouTube channel Drumeo. Silence in the chat. They're like, I never heard of Drumeo. Drumeo is a drum channel for drummers, but they do this fun stuff where they bring in celebrity drummers like Chad from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, well-known jazz musicians, like everybody that's well-known. The guy from The Police, everybody. They just have these really well-known drummers, and they bring them in, and they play them a song that they've never heard, right? So, for instance, for Chad from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they played him 30 Seconds to Mars, The Kill, right? And so they play him a drumless track, and then he gets to make up. He doesn't have to, like, all right, what do you think the track is like? It's basically like, all right, you have your unique flavor of drumming. How would you make the drums to the song, not knowing the song at all? Because if you know the song, then you're going to have to like, okay, well, I kind of know what they already do. It kind of ruins the vibe. You have to completely not know the song at all. And so they have a ton of fun ones. Like this one guy, oh, man, I can't remember who they made do it, but it was really fun. I think it was not the guy from Slipknot. It was one of these really heavy metal bands, and they played them a song from, I think they're called 5 Seconds of Summer. It's like a more poppy band, and they played him the song that he obviously has never heard, and he made these and it was awesome. And they make Mike Portnoy. For those that know Dream Theater, it's like progressive metal. Like they make 15-minute songs, these progressive, crazy, intricate 6/8, 7/4, all this crazy stuff. And they played him that he's never heard, Taylor Swift's "Shake It Off," right? And he's like, I've never heard this in my life. So he had to like make what he would have done for the drums for it, and it sounds awesome. It sounds really cool. It's just such a unique perspective. So I texted Jason this earlier, and I give the same challenge to you guys. Make me a list, and you don't want to just do 1 or 2 songs, because what happens if I've heard the 1 or 2 songs and then I have to go, oh, I've heard that. Make me a list of a few songs that you think. The problem is there's this fine line. I have to have never heard that song. Now, you don't know my brain, so you're like, how would I know I never heard it? That's why I say make me a list. So that way, even if you're only 30% successful and you gave me 10 songs, that means 3 songs I've never heard of and I can utilize them, okay? There's a fine balance between I've never heard the song in my life, but it has to be somewhat of a popular song, because people, they don't know me, so they essentially would know the song. They'd click on the video because they know the song. So essentially, like, Taylor Swift, I've heard "Shake It Off," right? But if somebody was scrolling on YouTube and they heard, pop punk drummer learns "Shake It Off," or hears "Shake It Off" for the first time, or something like that, they'd be like, oh, that's weird. Let me check out that video, because they know the song, because they don't know me. You get what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Popular songs, and it doesn't have to be metal. It can be pop. It could be dance. It could be country. It could be metal. I would actually like to hear like 1 or 2 like metal songs that maybe I've never heard of. But it could be anything. Think of the examples I gave you. They're playing. One they made played Taylor Swift. One they made this really jazz fusion lady play Rush. She's never heard Rush before, so Rush, that guy's like a legendary drummer. She never heard him, so she had to like make this drum, the whole drum track for this Rush song, and it was so unique and different because she never heard of it. So it's like the possibilities are endless. So if I had to give you there's no number. There's no number. Like if you're like, oh, I got these, I could only think of these 5 songs, whatever, that's fine. You think of 10 songs, that's cool too. I'm not saying, oh, I need a list of 100. I'm just saying, however many songs you have that you think, he's probably never heard this before, but it's really popular. You know what I mean? I wrote some ideas down before of like, I didn't even look up the songs because I want to really, I'm like I said, I don't want to lie. I don't like, I've never heard this song before, but I've heard it a billion times, bro. So like, I've never heard any Jelly Roll shit. This guy that's like he's like so popular, right? Like Jelly Roll, bro. Like, I don't know this Jelly Roll shit. I've never heard it. So I'm like, okay, fine. Like a Jelly Roll song, I could do that. That'd be fantastic. There's a really popular pop punk band in the UK named Neck Deep. I've heard like their most popular song, but I haven't heard much by them. So I thought that would be unique as a perspective, like especially for my European people, because Neck Deep is like Neck Deep is their Sum 41. Like America gets Sum 41, they're like, we get Neck Deep. So I was like, oh, okay, I'd do that. Now the real problem is, this is where it gets really difficult. I need there to be a drumless track. You get what I'm saying? If I hear the drums in the track, I'll be like, oh, here's the drums, and I get it. Versus when the Drumeo videos do it, the drummer is listening to a drumless track version, so they just hear the bass, guitar, vocals, keyboards, whatever. They hear everything but the drums, so they're like, what the hell? How does the song go? They're trying to figure out how the parts are, and so that's how they can be so creative with it, is because there's no drums to it. So whatever songs you come up with, you're going to have to Google them or YouTube them and see if there's a drumless track version. And if not, then you can still put it on the list, but then I'd have to find, I know there's programs out there that AI can separate the drums out. So then I'd have to try to separate the drum. I'd have to find something that separates the drums so I don't hear the drums. I do not want to hear what it's supposed to be until the end. That's the funny part. Because the drummer, like from Chad, he's like, okay, I can tell, this 30 Seconds to Mars is in 3/4. I can tell it's in 3/4. I don't know what's going on, but, this is what I would do. And then he gets to the end of the song, and then they play the song, and then they go, oh, man, this part's different. Oh, I never would have guessed this part or whatever it is. And it's just such a fun video. So I definitely want to do that, but it's hard to do it for me because I can't be my own content provider. You do understand that, right? I can't, try to vet all these songs and listen to them and be like, oh, heard it, didn't heard it. You know what I mean? It's like, how would I know a song I didn't hear? How would I know a song I didn't hear if I don't know it? You get what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. I need other people to submit songs that I've never heard, because how would I know to make that a suggestion if I never heard it? The only thing I had ideas were artists that I know are popular that I haven't, like Jelly Roll. I haven't heard no Jelly Roll. I know he's popular, but I haven't heard none. So I could do that. Because I want to do it for myself. I'd love to do it for other drummers too. That'd be fantastic to bring another drummer over here and be like, hey, because then there's tons of songs where it's like, I could play a Megadeth song or something I know, but I know they've never heard, and make them drum it. I would love to do that for Garrett as well, but he's really, I don't want to shit on his parade, but he's like really bad with just being creative, with just being free, with just like going with the groove, going with the moment and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, even when we're making stuff, it feels like I'm pulling his teeth just to get him to come up with something for something I made versus an actual song that's put together. Like, I don't think he'd have as much fun with it. And I'm trying to have some fun over here. So, yes, if anybody has song, even if you're like, bro, I can only think of this one, you probably haven't heard it. If you have, it's okay. That's fine with me. Now, you do need to be able to get me this playlist. As Carolina just put that in the chat. How do we get it to you? Great question. Well, I'd say the easiest way to do it that would also lube up my algorithm would be this video. After it's done live, it becomes a video on demand, so you can come back to the channel. And then, I'm not saying you have to watch this whole video again. Don't even watch this again. Come back to this video and put your list in the comments below. And then that'll be like two birds with one stone, because then YouTube's going to be like, oh, look, he's getting comments on the video. But in the comments, it could just be your list of song name and band name. But it would be great if you already knew if there was a drumless version of it. You get what I'm saying? So that way you could be like, these 5 I've seen are drumless on YouTube. You don't have to put the links in there. Just, like I've searched them. These 5 have drumless versions. These 5, I couldn't find a drumless version. So that way I know which ones are something I'd have to like manufacture myself. So that way I want to keep my, and I don't want to take off the blindfold. I want to be like, I really have not heard these things. So that way the perspective is actually genuine, trying to be genuine over here. That'd be fantastic. So Carolina will find some, yes, that'd be cool. Like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if I don't know what the song is, I'm just hoping I'm going to hit record on the thing. I'm going to just hit record on the camera and press play. I'm like, all right, what's going on here? I'll listen to, okay. And then my job is to just kind of come up with the parts. Now, Cheyenne, I remember we used to do this for, and this is going to be on the, you're going to comment on this channel, but this is an Epic D guy idea, because obviously that's more music-based. But I used to do this in my live shows where I would say, hey, comment a song you want me to jam to, and then just find a drumless version of it. And if I haven't heard it, it'll be pretty cool to do that. Now, the idea is going for, because I was getting banned. They were striking me for doing that. They're like, no, you cannot. You cannot do other people's music live. So now I know. I've had my punishment. I've served my time. So I can't do it live, but I can record it. And the idea would be then I would be able to, let's say I take a couple hours and I can record like 3 songs, because it's not going to be 5 minutes per song. I'm not going to listen to a song and like, oh, I instantly nailed it. It's probably going to take me an hour per song or something like that. So then I can have a lot more content flowing into Epic D Guy. I already got Epic D Guy is like nothing to me. I think it's like the easiest thing. I got so many music-based ideas, but this is the one that I was like, man, this would be a lot of fun to do. I want to do some fun stuff. So that'll be coming down the pipe with your suggestions. So thank you so much for contributing to that. That'll be great. We can do each song as an individual comment. No, you don't got to do all that. That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot of. I feel like that'd be more work, honestly, on my end to like copy and paste everything. So, but I can see how that would work really well because it'd be like, wow, he got 100 comments, but it's 10 comments of 10 songs per person individually. I mean, I guess you could do that if you really want to, but that just seems like more work for you and more work for me. So it's all right. It's already enough work for you guys to do this research, but that'll be fun. And I almost forgot to shout this out. Guess what I got? Guess what? You'll never guess. Boom, baby. Epic business cards. I was like, I need one way to show off both channels. Where is it at? So half of it, Al Silva. What did I put here? Podcast host, behind the scenes, on the street commentary, vlog. And then the other half is the Epic D Guy, music reviews, gear reviews, band guides, tutorials, Epic D Guy, boom. So then they scan this QR code, and it brings them to my link tree that has the links to this YouTube channel, the Epic D Guy YouTube channel, the TikToks, the Insta. It has the links to everything. So now when I do those on the street videos, remember that one video I was like, man, I wish I had business cards. Guess what? We here. 500 in a slab. Let's go. Let's go, people. No more. So now I want to do more on the street videos for this channel because that's more of this channel's bread and butter. Because every person I interview, I give them a card, and everybody's going to want to see themselves. Who doesn't want to see themselves on the internet? Everybody. So that's where I'm going to be like, hey, subscribe to my channel because it's not going to come out for weeks. So go ahead and scan on this, subscribe to my YouTube, and that way hopefully because how many people did I interview for the Chicago video? Like 20? I could have had 20 subscribers just from them. Not obviously the people that subscribe because the content was good, but yes. So now we're legit. And yes, I did get personal business cards before I got the band business cards. The band's always talking about like, oh man, we got to get business cards. And I agree, but it's like, I got to get my own thing too. I do more of my own stuff than you guys because they don't want to grind like I want to grind for this. Obviously they want to do the band stuff, but now that I've gotten this, and I would just recommend them to the same website because this 500, I think it cost me with shipping, everything out the door is like $15. $15 here for 500 of these boys shipped to my house. So now, yes, I'll get another set of these cards, but it'll just be the band. I've already made like the image where it's like, it has the logo, Epic Disappointments, and then it has the QR code in the middle that leads to the Epic Disappointment link tree, and then it has like Al Silva, guitar, Dylan James, lead, Garrett, drums, Mario, the Caribou, bass. And then that way it's just one set of cards we can all get a big stack from. And then when we're at shows, that's how we network for the Epic Disappointment stuff. We're at shows talking to people before the show. Oh, hey, y'all, what do you guys play? Oh, we play at 9. Here's our card. You can just add our stuff. And we post all these videos up afterwards, you know what I mean? So if you want to experience the show again, we'll post it on there. And then after the show, after the gig, they go, oh, that was pretty sweet. Where can we find you? Oh, here, just take our card. Just take this home. Go ahead and scan that, though, and then you can add our YouTube, add our Facebook, and stuff like that. So we do need the business cards. I did tell them technically we only need, if you think about it with a QR code, you only need one. Like each one of us could have like a metal one or a hard, plastic one or something like that. And then just tell people, here, scan this with your phone. And then they scan it and then just make them add it right then and there in front of us. Add that right now. Oh, okay, yeah, now you'll get all our stuff. So that way we don't need to hand these out. But it's almost less pressure on that person. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, here's my card. Add this when you get home, and then it's up to that person to be actually doing the work to go. Oh, you know what? Let me add that in there. Let me get that there. I need a bunch of those. Then go to your local mall and just drop them. All sorts of strangers will see it. That would be. I think it'd be funny for doing stickers, right? Do stickers. And then where's the best place to put stickers? Like, obviously, these don't stick on anything. But if these were the same thing, but in stickers, or even if it was just this would be funny for the sticker version. There's no words, right? It's just a QR code and this dude. I think that would be the most intriguing thing, because it'd be like, what the hell is this dude? Don't put the names. Don't put the things. Just a sticker with the QR code and the picture of me, right? And then stick them on bathrooms, bro, right? For men, when you're doing the urinal, right, when we pee, we're looking like right in front, right? Because you don't want to be looking left and right. There could be other people peeing. So you just look right in front. So then you'd put it like right at eye level right there. And they'd be like, what the hell is that? And they'd zip up, they'd shake off, zip up, and they're like, let me scan it. Oh, this guy? And then hopefully they just see a couple thumbnails and they go, oh, that looks pretty cool. I'll add. Or even if they just watch one video, I'll watch a video. Oh, that was pretty cool. And then when you're in the toilet, for the ladies, and guys poop as well, but, ladies, they don't get the urinals because you can't stand and pee. You put it on the door, right? So then you're sitting there, you're looking at the door, and then there's just a QR code that's eye level to when you're seating. And then you're at the and how many times there's somebody that's like, man, I got nothing to do. I just got my phone. Oh, let me take the scan. Let me scan this QR code. Oh, what's going on here? Let me look at this guy. So I do want to make stickers for that. Because I think those would be great applications for stickers where you place them in places where people have to look. They have to. Isn't it vandalism? It could be. Now, you can't place it in places that don't have vandalism already done. You get what I'm saying? Like, when I go to these venues, usually their bathrooms are like everybody's signing them. Everybody has their own stickers. Everybody. Those are the venue types that you want to put them on. You don't want to put them on like you go to Starbucks or something, and it's a pristine bathroom, and then there's just this one QR code of me going, or whatever, I mean, they're going to be like, all right, let me scan this code so I can legally, get this lawsuit against this guy for vandalizing my bathroom. So you got to be smart with the QRs. But when I make those stickers, then I'll do like a roll call, like, who wants the stickers, to spread them around, and then I'll just mail you guys the stickers. That'd be really funny. So that'll be the next purchase, is QR code stickers. But I figured I needed to start with the business cards, so that way when I get out there, I got something to hand to people. You know what I was doing? You saw in that video, or I think I cropped out most of them, except for when I was talking to that one beautiful woman, that absolutely gorgeous woman that never messaged me. And I just wrote my name down on I tore these 3x5 business cards. I just tore them into pieces, and I wrote Al Silva. Al Silva. And then that's what I was handing anybody that asked me, could you write it down? I just wrote Al Silva. Ghetto as shit, bro. I can't believe how ghetto I was. Now, I'm a professional. Throw these cards at them. Looking good. Especially now I got the updated, I haven't even showed you guys, I got an updated microphone. Can't wait to use that. My ex-mother-in-law, she got me an Amazon gift card for Christmas, and I used that to get a new clip microphone. So that's going to be great. I got the getting ready. I got the updated getting ready stick, because I was using the other stick, but I was like, man, I need it to be smaller and more portable, so I got an updated stick. Now I got the hat. I got the Epic Disappointment hat, but I need to get the Getting Ready hat, so that way I have like a whole outfit. So they're like, bro, this guy's legit. He got business cards. He got the hat. He got the shirt. He got the cup. This guy's legit, bro. Damn. That's going to be fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Bro, put our faces on it, too, so it looks like we're watching people poop. I mean, that's like, well, I'm doing like, hey, you're pooping. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's super creepy. That's super duper creepy. Imagine if we're just like literally just staring. It's just like the QR code's in the middle, and we're not like, there's no angle to us. We're just straight on staring. Maybe I'm even pointing. That would be like, they would have no choice but to look. They would. It would be creepy, but they'd have no choice. They'd be like, man, that's what, like when somebody's staring at you and you can kind of feel it. You're like, somebody's looking at me, bro. I'm not sure. And then you look and somebody's literally looking at you. You can kind of feel it. Anybody that's around the stickers were staring and pointing, they'd be like, bro, what the hell is that? Then they scan it and they go, oh, these guys are cool. That's a cool show. I better watch them. Every day in the morning. Getting ready in the morning with Al. Backstage Tuesday nights. And then, like, I got to make maybe a different name for the Sunday night variant with the actual bands. The only problem is I'm kind of scared of my neighbor. Not I'm scared of my neighbors, but after that one neighbor was like, bro, I could hear you. I hear you all the way upstairs. Now I'm like, bro, I really don't want to get in trouble. So that way they shut it down because it's like, okay, I got the neighbor complaint. That's no big deal. But I guarantee the next time he's going to call the leasing office. And then the leasing office is going to call me. They're going to be like, hey, you better cut it out. And then I only got that other time because then the next time the leasing office is going to call the cops. And then I'm going to get a noise complaint. You get what I'm saying? So I only get like one more strike before it starts getting to some serious issues, you know? So I'm kind of nervous about that, bro. I know Garrett just ruined it for us, just nonstop kicking that damn nonstop, bro. I'm like, damn it. It's your fault. I did see some YouTube videos about how to create a drum riser. It seems like it'll cost not too much money, maybe about $100. But essentially take a piece of plywood, you drill out holes into the plywood, and then another piece of plywood with the same holes in the same spot, but smaller than a tennis ball, slightly smaller than a tennis ball. And then you put tennis balls in the sandwich of these. Imagine like an Oreo, right? You got cookie, cream filling cookie, but instead it's plywood, tennis balls, plywood. Then instead of screwing it together, you use tie straps around it because tie straps are spongy, right? They allow for some vibration motion. And then you cover the thing in carpet. And then you put your drums, your electronic drum kit on that. And therefore, because the largest thing of sound is the transfer of velocity and motion from the damn kick beater to the kick pad, and then that vibration goes down to the floor, and then especially if you're on any sort of variable floor that's not concrete, then it's now reverberating through the floor, going through the wood, and then that's how your neighbors are hearing it. So they're hearing a lot of dun 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 dun. But if I made this like essentially slightly floating floor, then it would, from the videos I've seen on YouTube, it does reduce the volume enough to be like, you know, most of them like, bro, I used to get complaints and now I don't get complaints, bro. This is good enough. Like, no, it doesn't make, oh, it's dead silent. I can't hear shit. No, it just takes away the vibration transfer into the floor. So, yeah, you're in the room, you still hear stuff, but it doesn't transfer outside of the room. So I might have to do that, bro. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work. Plus, my apartment's like kind of, the living room's like kind of small, so I'd have to make it in a certain way. Like a lot of people, they were just like, oh, I just take a 4x8 piece of plywood and then sandwich another piece of plywood and blah, blah, and it's like, well, I'd actually have to cut it and stuff. I don't have a circular saw. You know, I don't have the tools to make it a customizable size. So I'd either have to buy a circular saw, or I think there's a way at Home Depot you can be like, hey, can you cut this for me? But it just seems ghetto. Plus, I just don't have the money right now. But yes, that would be the idea, is to make something, because you know I'm stuck here for at least another year. At least another year, because I'm not going to be able to move by June. So I'm going to get, from June, I'm going to have to sign another contract. And the idea is to move by next June. So that's still a month and 5. I'd say a month and a half of still being here. And I got to do these shows, and I got to have bands come over and jam and perform. Now, normally when the bands come over, though, they do a song, and then we talk for 20 minutes, then we do a song, and then we talk for 20 minutes. So it's not like band practice where literally Garrett's drumming for an hour and a half straight with no stops whatsoever to, like, just shut the fuck up. It's just drumming, 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 drumming. So I get why my neighbor was like, bro, shut the fuck up. I totally get that. Versus when I had Get the Gatling over and stuff like that, it was like they played 3 songs spread out between 2 hours. Or I think they did 4 songs. So I don't know. I want to do that again, but the next band that I have signed up, I got to go to them. It's a band called Lead Poisoning. They're a pretty crazy band. They got like a full-blown ass, not just a keyboard. It's like a custom-made, this guy custom-made this keyboard thing. Rock band sort of thing. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember I played a show with them, and I enjoyed what they did. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And so Zachary wants to record them, and he asked me to come and help him record them. So it'll be this weekend experience. That was supposed to happen in a couple weeks in the middle of February, but we've postponed it, I guess, to the middle of March or something like that. So that's the only one that I have concrete where I'm like, they want to be on the show. But I'm going to help them out, and then as their repercussions or the payment for me or whatever, I said, well, then on Sunday night when we're done with everything, we're going to do a live show, but I'll do it over there because I'll be with them. And then we'll just do the backstage with the lead poisoning guest on site. But other than that, I had 3 other bands that were like, oh, I totally want to do it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, here's a list of dates. Tell me what dates you want. And they're like, oh, sweet, we'll get back to you. And then they didn't get back to me. So it's like, I know I'm a small-ass YouTuber. I know I got to grind it out. I got to, badge, and I got to be badgering people. I got to push, hey, you want those dates? Hey, you want those dates? But it's like, I want people to, want to do this. I don't want to, push nobody. Hey, get a date. Hey, every couple days, hey, you didn't give me a date yet. Hey, you going to get that date yet? Bro, I asked you to be on this. You said you were interested. Pick a fucking date, and let's go. Let's go. Because the idea is, you pick a date, then I can ask other people for other dates. There was this one I asked to be on. I said, does anybody need anybody that was posting, does anybody want to be a guest on my show? I commented, I said, yes, me. And there was these 2 guys, or 3, but the 2 that were serious about it. And the one, I went on his show. I'm still waiting for him to post that. I don't know if he posted it already and I just missed it because he's more of an Instagram guy. But the other guy, I'm in talking with him, and he's like, oh, okay, we're out of Metro Detroit too, blah, blah. Here's our show. Check us out, blah, blah. Let us know if this fits. And I checked him out, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty much what we do. Just a couple of guys shooting the shit. It's really nonsense, and they're talking, and, it's more on the comedic side, just like us. We're not actual comedians, but we're hoping to make you smile and laugh at points. And so I was like, yeah, no, this totally fits. Here's a video of my show. This is what I do, blah, 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 so that way they can get an idea of how I am and how I act and what I sound like, blah, blah. And they're like, all right, cool, then I'm going to get together with the other guys. We'll collaborate. We'll figure out what date works for you, blah, blah. And then just nothing. Then they just ghosted me. But they post all the time, looking for guests, looking for this. And I'm like, oh, bro, I'm not going to be like, hey, I thought I was going to be a guest on your show. I thought you were going to make me. I'm like, no, fuck you, bro. No, I'm good. I thought we had something special. And they're like, no. I don't know. That's oh, I don't know. Maybe they watched the show and they were like, bro, we can't have this guy on. His production value is 10 times the value of us. This guy's more entertaining and engaging. This guy actually knows how to talk on camera when he's talking to nobody. I've been talking to nobody. I mean, I've been talking to you guys digitally, but you get what I'm saying. There's nobody else in this room for the last 3 hours. I'm a professional talker, okay? This is what I do. And I think those other guys that got scared off, they're like, oh, bro, I don't know. I don't know about having this guy on. He's going to make us look bad. That's probably what it was. I won't tell you who it was so you don't look him up. But I thought I was going to be on their show, and I was excited, bro. And they let me down. So I'm not badgering them. I'm not going to be like, hey, guys, still want to do it? No. I've seen you post asking for other people, and then in the comments, oh, okay, yeah, oh, you want to get on the show? We'll collaborate. Let's get on, a couple Wednesdays. Bro, we were talking in the DMs. So no. I've moved on from them. But that's the idea. Is I want to get people bands that want to be here. Obviously, nobody fucking knows me, so they're like, why would I want to be here? You're a nobody with no followers and everything. I get that. But what I'm saying is that's why I want to be able to put out so much content that people understand what we do, and then it doesn't make sense. You guys, I know everybody runs across this, where you see a YouTuber, you see a video, you don't see how many subscribers they have or nothing. You just see the video. Maybe the thumbnail catches you. Click on the video, and you watch the video, and you're like, "Wow, this is good, well put together." And then as you're exiting the video, you look down and you look at the subscribers, and you're like, "What? They only got 1,000 subscribers? They only got 10,000 subscribers?" And you're like, "Whoa, this looks like a really well put together YouTube channel. That's pretty crazy." I come across a lot more of those nowadays than you think, because I think the algorithm's like, "Hey, this guy likes watching smaller channels." Because to me, those are the people that try harder. And I see that. And so it's I want the quality to speak for itself. I want it to be like, oh, no, this content, we could have been in front of 10,000 people. We just haven't made it there yet. We just haven't grinded long enough yet. But, yes, this is a good enough show to have lots of followers. We just don't have them yet. So that way, when I put out the Get the Gatlin episode, obviously that was my first band forte, so there was things. Next time I know going forward, I gotta tell people more, like I was doing for my sons on the New Year's Eve cast, where I was like talking to the mic, because that's what Get the Gatling kept doing. They kept, oh yeah, wasn't that funny how like, and then when that one dude he farted and blah, 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 and it's like, and then people in the chat would be like, it's too quiet. They're too quiet. I'm like, because they keep not talking to the mic. Everybody always goes, oh, Albert, you're way louder than everybody else. There's a couple reasons for it. Well, I'll give you 3. 1, projection. When you're talking, actually talk. I'm not, hey, when you're talking, you gotta talk, and this is the way I talk. No, I'm talking. I know I gotta talk more forward. That's projection of your voice. Step 1. Step 2, get in front of the microphone. This isn't magic. You think it's picking it up? It's picking up a little. I can see the signal, but why is it so much louder? Oh, because it's in front of my effing face. I don't know why this is such a hard concept. That's why a lot of channels, when they're doing podcasts, live casts, guests, or whatever, everybody has headphones on. And you're thinking, why do they have headphones on? They can't hear each other in the same room? They can, but if they don't have the headphones on with the monitors, they won't hear how they sound. So then if I hear this, I think I'm quiet. Why am I so quiet? Oh, it's because I'm not talking in front of the freaking microphone. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I just need to do a better job as a host telling people that have never obviously Get the Gatlin. This is their first live experience. And I told them this is going to live in infamy in their heads and in mine. Because I'll always remember the first guest I had, and they'll always remember the first show they went on. But I just need to do a better job of that going forward. So I'm like, hey, make sure, before we get on the show, put the mic in front of your face, talk nice and loud, and every time you get comfortable, maybe I'll do a signal. I'll be like, I don't know what the signal is because that was going to look weird, but like, you know what I mean? I'll do this microphone, mouth. Maybe I'll just point to the mouth. Put the microphone in front of your mouth. That's it. That's it. Project, put the microphone in front of your mouth. Just speak fully, bro. That's all you got to do, and you'll be fine. So that'll be fantastic. Let's see here. We can use a Dremel and a saw. That's true, I guess. But isn't the Dremel just the little oscillator thing? How are you going to cut through almost inch-thick plywood? Can it do that? Because that's the thing. You kind of need, I think it's like, not inch-thick. That'd be pretty crazy. But I think I would go with 5/8 inch plywood. Because obviously more mass conserves the vibrations. Something like that. I mean, if that's possible, we could do that. And then my dad, if he was watching right now, he'd be like, I got the tools. And my dad has all the tools. He's like, I'm sure he could just come down and do that as well. I didn't think about that. When are we going to do the epic phone battles? Us fans want to join too. Well, the problem is, I don't know. I guess we'd have to figure out. I mean, we could do this while we're this size. This makes sense. Obviously, I know Cheyenne, and the people that are in the chat. Now we got Skip, we got Luna, and blah blah blah. It makes sense. We could do this, but could you imagine, like, when we get to a couple thousand and everybody wants to call it, I'd have to vet the people. Like, basically, it makes sense to do the guests now because you guys want to be on, and we can do that. We can figure out. We just need a concept. Like, what do we do? Like a call-in sort of thing, and then I'd have to set up the scenes. Like, you've seen the one episode where I had my dad on. Like, when somebody Skypes in, I haven't had somebody video Skype in yet, so I still have to test that one out. To how do I get that video feed on the screen without ruining with the Jason thing? But then if somebody's not videoing in, then I got to have some sort of image. So it makes sense, like, for the people that come a lot, that I could make a PNG dude or PNG chick for those guests, like I did for Jason and my father. That'd be pretty fantastic. So we can figure out something for you guys to get on. I just think it would be kind of chaotic for, like, when we because I'm trying to future-proof this, like, get into a nice rut of things where it's like, this is how we get the show done every week. I could just imagine random people. I mean, I see the entertainment value of random people being able to call in as well, because then you're going to get some whack jobs that are like, they'll call in like that one video where he's like, am I live? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, I'm jacking off right now. And it's like, what? That video is so funny. If you haven't seen it, you won't get the context of it. But essentially that. You're going to get whack jobs calling in, saying the craziest shit, trying to get you in trouble in one way or another. But obviously I know you guys wouldn't do that. which is fine. For you guys do the yes. Luna, you're gonna make me do something. If we want, we just need. We'll do like a commentary. Maybe I have like a specific thing that I'm like, all right, we're gonna bring up this thing. We're gonna bring it. You know, like some channels, they'd be like, we have different perspectives, right? We got some perspectives. We got person from New Zealand. We got a person from New York versus New Zealand. The news. It's trying to battle. And then maybe we do like a, I don't know, because like we're not really like not like a game show, but I could see like some sort of game, some sort of quizzy thing about something. I don't know. This is where we're complete Play-Doh. We can do anything we want to. Good ideas are always welcome. So if you have some ideas of what would be good to get people like yourselves, Cheyenne, to like do something like that, that'd be kind of funny. Like New York versus New Zealand, something like that. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, no, we can make all that happen. All right, but as far as everything else, I gotta go to bed. And I know I said that an hour ago, but I definitely 100% have to go to bed right now. If I go to bed right now, I'll get 5 hours of sleep. That's all right. That's enough for a big presentation. I should be good. So thank you guys for joining once again. Somehow stretch an hour and a half to 3 hours. I can't keep getting away with this. I can't keep getting away with this. I just can't. No. I wish I had that. I really want to put that. Oopsie, did it again. Oh, well. We'll learn one of these days. Anyway, thanks for joining. Cheyenne, Luna, Skip, even the J in the chat. And then we also had Carolina. I didn't have to scroll to see the name. Thank you for joining. Appreciate your time. Everyone, have a wonderful night. Don't forget your homework. Try to desensitize at some point in the next week and let me know in the comments below. But as far as that goes, I'm out of here. Good day. I'm sorry, everyone. The show's over, but we thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. We're out of here.
You what?
Good day.
Are you ready?
Wait a minute.
Make your dreams come true.
That was legitness. Yeah, it was, huh?